know if this is going to fuck up my camera, but this helped me out so much because I mean, I went up through people when I do security, and this is just kind of showing it, like you have to go into command presence mode, and command presence mode is the most powerful mode that is because you're commanding. You're having chaos go around you, and it has to have some sort of beginning point to bring it back to a certain level of law and order for the most part. So like I'm going up and I have this thing like here, and let me see, it's like on flash mode. That's one thing like it's on flash mode. You can't really see it, but this thing blinds the fuck out of you. And actually, I'm gonna have to with the new one that arrived. You keep on talking about programs. I'm like, it's just like a button. So I'll have to talk to you a little bit about that. But I was able to go through people and flash the entire party's eyes, blinding them for a second, discombobulate them, which would be a visual pattern interrupt of what's going on. Okay, so everything we've talked about in the past as far as the mind lines. Okay, well, there's also visual lines that you can do, like flash, flash, flash. It gets a person off their game and off their level. And I was able to move me into a place where I was able to step between them and the girls, flash them off. They didn't know what the fuck was going on because they can't see. And basically, I went into my fury. So he may talk about some things that would be useful. Like this is, I think it was like $40 fucking, but dude, I'll tell you, like this little fucking thing. Like I was amazed when you first did it, but I was in the club, you know, popping people. You know, sometimes guys get a little too much. Just a quick flash, boom. They all know. Oh, okay, got it. This is a must if you're going for security. And I want to get now into a little bit more about security and being a man, being able to protect, because the base energy of a masculine man is he protects. I had some 24-year-old girl over here last night, and she comes over about once a week, and maybe that, and she's just like, oh, I always miss just like laying next to you because your energy grounds me. Like women need a masculine man. I can't tell you, and I try to tell you over and over, how many women come to see me just to be like, if I could just basically, like I saw one guy was doing it, like lay and cuddle with me for $150 an hour. I said I could get it because women do not have a lot of men out there that have that grounded masculine energy, which they all say. They say the same fucking thing is, I like to be around you because you ground me. You make me feel like life's going to be okay. You resort me. You recharge me. Okay. So these are the things that you're going to hear when it's okay, because you're like, hey, you know what? You're talking to him as a human being. You're talking to him as a person you care about that's in your range of protection to a degree. Because a lot of these girls, if you know what I do sometimes, a lot of these girls have these, maybe they get an abusive relationship. They come into my house. I got to deal with a lot of these dumb fucking shits that come and they're like, well, that's my chick. I'm like, she don't want to be with you, bro. So there's this whole masculine level of stepping up, protecting, and no one that I know is better at it than, Stephen, for doing this. So I want you to get the questions out, because you're going to be amazed to hear some of the things that he said. Like one of the things that when I was in the conference, I'm kind of flipping back now, is you basically said, you're not, I think it was like, to a degree, I might fuck this up, you're not really a man if you can't protect your family. Bottom fucking line. All right. And I want you guys to take into this. And so on that level, I just want to kind of lead into this a little bit, because I didn't want to start off all random. But if my tech guy was here, he could probably, this wouldn't have happened. Anyways, so let's just start off like that and lead it in, because I know you got stories and you got perspectives that are going to be super useful to these guys. And also congratulations on your new venture about going out into the wilderness. Man, I would love to attend that. And like I said, man, if I can kind of figure out some things, like it's something that I know, like I know foraging. I've been really studying foraging a lot, and the herbology and the medicinal stuff and all these things. So I'm kind of like if you ever played Dungeons and Dragons, kind of like the Palladian, if you know what that is. And basically what that is, it's kind of like a warrior slash, I'm not all warrior, like I'm not barbarian warrior, but I'm a warrior on one level, but I'm like a mix between warrior and monk. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. So I have those both kind of things going for me. So like I said, I'm kind of babbling a little bit because I've been running around, but let's just leave it to you, Steve.
All right. No, that's cool. And so there's like 5 things that you said that I wanted to add on to. So first off, I already see guys asking about the light. I did a review. I don't even think it's on my new YouTube channel. It might be, but I know if you just get on YouTube and go to Bravo PUA, I only have a couple videos, but I did a review on the new light, the new model. And then I think in the description, there's a link to it, a direct link to it on Amazon. And so it's like $35. I don't make a penny. I'm just trying to tell guys what the good shit is. Like, it's funny because the old lights that I used to carry all the time is this one, the Surefire. It runs off 2 batteries. This thing's like was $300, and it's worth every single penny. The new one is almost as bright as that light. It runs off 1 battery, and they're like $35 on Amazon. So just the technology is just getting crazy. So one of the cool things.
Real quick, when you talk about these programs, because it's like one button, like I gotta.
Yeah. So you don't click it. You know how you hit momentary? So you hit it quickly 9 times, and then on the 10th time you hold it. So tap, 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 tap 9 times, and on the 10th one you hold it. And it'll cycle through the modes. You'll see it turn on and off or go high and low.
So I can do it. So the first button is flash. I can set that up.
Yeah. Here, I'll grab mine and I'll show you. Mine's sitting right here.
That's impressive because a lot of the times I'm not like with this thing. Flash is discombobulating, guys. So like I said, if you're having some kind of aggressor or anything like this, okay.
So it's a Streamlight ProTac 1L-1AA. And the way you know you got the new one is it says 10-tap programmable. So like right now, mine.
Unfortunately, that one's in my car, so I only have this one with me.
Well, if you have an old one, it doesn't have it. Only on the new ones. It has to say 10-tap on the side. It's a software upgrade.
I'm going to write this down. Just 10-tap.
Model number is 1L-1AA. And what that means is it can run off of 1 lithium battery. And lithium batteries are the batteries like we run cameras and stuff on. So it can run off of 1 lithium battery, which these are 3-volt lithiums. They have a 10-year shelf life. So this isn't something I necessarily want to work on my car with. However, I could in a pinch. But it's really designed as a tactical flashlight. The cool thing, though, is because it's a 1L-1AA, you can actually put a AA in there also. So you can put either or. So in a pinch, an emergency situation, overseas, you can throw a AA in there. Obviously, the AA is not going to be as bright, but it's still the new one with the AA in it is brighter than the one you have right now.
The one so I can also
lithium
put a lithium
3 times. Yeah, 3 times brighter.
I was
just amazing.
I was looking. I'm like, does it look better? But I didn't know it was a lithium. I had the AA in there.
Yeah. So it's lithium versus alkaline. So if you want to talk about gear and guns and all that, I can talk about that shit. Well, I'm doing a 4-day course on that stuff coming up. But the cool thing with this light is, with the way I do it, is I just like high only. So it's just high all the time. So that way I'm in control of it. It's always bright. Yeah, Surefire takes two of the batteries. Surefire. So I actually did the Surefire instructor low light instructor course years ago, and I actually helped teach some of those classes later with some other companies where we were doing force on force, like with SWAT teams and stuff like that. So for a long time, Surefire was the best, but realistically, the Streamlight stuff's better, and they're 1/2 the price now, 1/4 the price. But anyways, what he's talking about is you can cycle through the modes. If you hit it 10 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you hold it, and now like this one has low, high. So you can go high only, low high, or high strobe low. So it's nice to have all those options. I don't do the strobe thing. The only time I've ever done the strobe thing before is I was coming home one day. Hey John, how you doing, brother?
Hey man.
And I was coming home one day. It was on 4th of July, and I lived right next to the lake in Tempe, Arizona, Tempe Town Lake. And I just missed the window to get home by like 2 minutes. So it literally took me an hour to go like 1 block down the road. But anyways, right when I was pulling up to my intersection to make a turn, a taxi cab pulled out in front of me. I honked. He wouldn't move. He's just fucking sitting there. So I turned this light on, put it to strobe, and I put it in the dashboard, and I honked. He looked up at his rearview mirror. I don't know if he thought maybe I was a cop or something or whatever, but he ended up driving out of my way. So in the class, we actually teach how you can use the light, not only offensively, which is what Eric was talking about going to the party. You blind people. 80% of all information is gathered through the eyes on the normal person. So as soon as you can't see through your eyes, it's an overwhelming, helpless sensation. And it's almost like an X-Men superpower that you can just, with a touch of a button, take someone's eyes out of the equation. So if I have to fight, it's better than pepper spray, because pepper spray, if you use it and you're not legally justified or allowed to have it, you can get in trouble. And people can get hurt and die and stuff. They have allergic reactions and shit to that. Or you get sprayed. But with a flashlight, boom, I can hit someone from 20 yards away, blind the shit out of them. Instantly, they feel helpless. Their eyes, it takes actually your eyes an hour to reacclimate to low light, even more if they're drunk or on drugs or anything. And like I said, it's almost like an X-Men superpower. And then I carry it with me all the time. And we've taught classes on how to use these for self-defense just on an airplane. Basically, if there's a terrorist or something, how to just use a flashlight as a weapon on its own. So yeah, that's the new one. That's a little briefing on those. Anyone wants more info?
When you're going out downtown, it's kind of like Men in Black, you know, flashing in a girl's eyes and like this. And then she's blind. You go up there and they go, now the guy that was there used to be ugly, but you know, now he's better looking. In front of you.
He's not there anymore.
You're gonna enjoy his conversation. Oh, by the way, nice to meet you.
Yeah, and we actually get to the point, and I don't want to. This is kind of hard to convey over the internet, but you can actually get in with the light. We can misdirect with it too. So I can blind someone with the light; they don't see where it is, or see where I'm going, and I can actually move one way while I'm moving the light another way. So if I'm blinding you and I start moving the light to the right as I go left, and then turn it off, everyone's going to assume, just like misdirection with magic or anything, they're going to assume I went that way, whereas realistically I went the other way. So I do that in shooting scenarios all the time where I blind someone, boom, I'm out of there, and they don't even see me. And I've had entire SWAT teams try to shoot me with paintball and ammunition guns and not even be able to get a shot off, just by not even be able to get a shot on me just by using the flashlight correctly. If you use it incorrectly, it's almost a shoot me light. It's shoot here. But if you use it unpredictably and intermittently, it's pretty amazing. It's to me, it's an EDC item, everyday carry. So it's something every guy should have all the time: a knife, a gun if you can carry it, a flashlight, and some medical stuff.
Yeah, it's too bad you don't have like an affiliate with there, because I'll probably post. I may post this Ultimate Man on my Facebook because I think there's going to be a lot of useful information, and that would be great. Hey, cool, you just made $1,000 on orders or whatever, but they'll be happy. And
business for me, it just seems like the more info I give away and the more I help out, I get guys who are like, man, if he gives this kind of level away for free, imagine what he gives when we do a private training session or something. So
I'm the same way with like these Ultimate Man groups. I don't give them, you know, like a lot of, not even on the Ultimate Man or the Master Circle. I mean, you know, like this is where I give the good stuff. Like it's the good stuff. And going back to what you're talking about on the flashlight, I remember when you were in my room, you're like, you know, go here. And I thought you were still, like I said, still behind the light. And you were kind of shy because I couldn't see, you know. And so if a person had a gun and you're holding it over here, they're aiming for the light and they can't even see you. Meanwhile, you're swooping in from this direction. So
right, which I would do because I've done some training. I always have weapons or tools on me. But for the average person, for the majority of people, just like the shooting at the airport the other day, realistically, you should get out. And even with me, with all my training and all the cool stuff I have, I mean, I'm not a cop. So if there's an active shooter or something going on too, I don't even really want to go there because it's going to be so easy for the cops to think I'm a bad guy or something. So it's your job. This is the quote I said at the seminar you're talking about. If you can't protect yourself or your loved ones, you're not a man. And that's something that when that clicked in my head years ago, I was like, man, it's so interesting. One of my mentors in the martial art I study, Tuan Tom, he has a great quote where he says, I don't outsource my self-protection, my self-defense, my personal security. And that was like a game changer mind shift too, because that's what everyone does. Is everyone likes to think that they have this, we live in a reality where the police are going to keep you safe and there's gun-free zones and this is going to be the way it is and everything's okay. But all it takes is one crazy person.
Chicago, congratulations. You're doing a beautiful job. Hey, Obama, isn't that where you were from? Way to take care of your city.
And then they blame Indiana where the gun laws are easier. Indiana would have worse gun crime if that was the liberal
left. I mean, their motto is blame, shame, and defame. It's taking no personal responsibility. You know, I mean, let's not even go there anyways. But
yeah, but that's really a big thing too. That's just like even with me in my house, like I know if I could call the police, average response time's like 7 to 9 minutes in most places. I think it's 11 or 12 in Chicago, but supposedly 7 or 9. So hopefully I can live that long.
You know what? Let me tell you a story here. This is on personal security, and not a lot of people know the story, but probably, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago. Okay, I came home after working at one of the strip clubs, and it was like 4 in the morning, and I was just kind of sitting out front. And back then, I think I was in my smoking phase. I was smoking, and I noticed off to 2 houses down, out of these bushes, 2 little heads popping up like this. I'm like, what the fuck? This ain't cool. So I got in my house, got my shit. I was in my Lincoln town car at the time, you know, and got my shit. went down there and basically got in my car, turned around, came in and pointed my car, like drove my car and pointed at the bush. Kid you not, dude, this is the closest I've ever been to death, you know, because I felt the chill of death. 12 gangbangers all came out branding guns, okay? And like I had that oh shit moment, and I fucked up. Like going back, I realized what I did because I pulled in like this, and they instantly came out, and I would have been dead. If they would have shot, I would have been dead. Or, you know, I would have regenerated myself and came back to life, whatever, okay? So I was like, oh shit. And I fucking pulled out, and I pulled back about 20 yards and just shined the light on the whole area. Two groups of gangbangers, like, you know, came out, and I spooked them, okay? So they all started coming out, they were going up the street, and they went into two different cars. Well, I followed the one car. You know, one car went this way, one car went that way. I followed the one car. On the phone with 911, I followed them from my house, okay, all the way up the 125, all the way up to the 52, all the way across the 52 past Claremont Mesa, on the phone, chasing these motherfuckers all the way. They didn't get here, okay, until the next day. So anyone that's out there, when you see me talk strong about this, I know it takes 2 minutes to fuck your shit up, kill you, rape you, whatever the fuck. That's how fast it can take. This thing, like I said, chased them all the way. So, you know, I always look out for my neighbors. Like, you don't want to fucking, I mean, right behind me, I don't even know if I can say it, like, let's say a special ops guy, military, like, wrong neighborhood to fuck with, you know what I mean? And so I went down, I knocked on the people's houses, an old man and shit and his wife. It was going to be a home invasion, all right? And so I said, hey, I just wanted to let you know, this is what just happened. And the next day kind of came up, and we went down there. I found 9mm guns, stolen chest plates from the California penitentiary, and ski masks. And so just to let you know, like if I would have just stayed back, these people may have been dead. Okay, I may have been dead for doing it, but I talked about it last week. That's one of the stories I didn't talk about. This is one of those things where you step up, you put your ass on the line, and it's like a challenge. And I don't say you go look for it, but it deepens your masculinity because you know that you're putting yourself in a life and death situation. Yet I was prepared in that situation. Okay, even though I look back, if it was a very aggressive person, I would have been dead. But the point is that we're talking about is do not wait on anyone for your own self-protection, especially your loved ones, your neighbors, your friends, or your family. So sorry, I wanted to go off on that one a little bit.
No, that's fine. But you also probably, especially with your job and working security, you've probably interacted with a lot of police and also dealt with a lot of police, correct?
I try to minimize it.
But you have.
Yeah.
So what happens is a lot of guys who just never had any interactions with the police at all. So I used to work at a gun range. We worked at a cop shop, so we sold all this gear, body armor, all that stuff. Then I left and started working for a private contracting company where we taught all these really cool, awesome classes. And so I have a lot of interaction. And then like my ex-father-in-law was a detective. My brother's a cop. It's like I know a lot of people in the military and all that stuff too. So the thing is, it's people who actually have interactions with law enforcement or know more of them. And hear the real shit, or have been in these situations before where it takes them a while to show up, and that's if you can even call them. If shit's really going down, I'm not going to be able to fucking call them. Yeah. I mean, think about normal person getting in a car accident. They don't instantly they get out of their car and they're walking around on the freeway and they're just totally out of it and they're putting themselves in danger just from a little fender bender, let alone someone busted in your house. So most people
you want to see something funny? You want to see something funny, but you'll appreciate this because. You know, this is the way I think. As a man, you know, you prepare for the worst, but you think the best. That's the way it is.
Yep.
Literally in my office right now, I have probably about 20 weapons ready to go. And most people don't even know that they're there. Like,
that's what happens to the wife.
Like right here. I don't know if you like here, John, we're going to try this. Hopefully it works. Going to just kind of aim that around a little bit. Right? You'll see some of my stuff. Okay, my fish tank. Right here.
Where are we at here?
Boom. Got a knife ready to go. Okay. So I moved down a little bit here. Actually, there was one right here, but here I have a knife here. and I shouldn't be showing you this. Okay, this one actually, I was showing the other guy the other day, was actually here. Last minute one. This is my mask for the door. I got one right here. Boom. Okay. So, and proper way to open a knife is like this. All right. This just hangs out there. Yeah. Now, this is also outside, but by my door, I have a machete.
You have a lot of lens flare right now. It's hard to see what you're doing.
Well, there's a machete there. And look, if you go on this side of the room, I got lots of other things. Literally, there is not a 3 to 4
the sword in the
range.
foreground.
There's a sword right there. I got 2 spears up here.
There's a pole.
I even got cool art shit. These are 2 knives that are over here, but that was actually a gift from one of my Navy SEAL buddies. That's dope as shit. And then I got this one like this. So Jody Royak, if you're watching this, he launched Blink hanging stuff. He's a big knife fan as well.
Nice.
Just showing you. Look at this one. Okay. So the point is like this. Probably a lot of people, in my opinion, they want to shame you. Like I said, it's this whole shaming shit about, oh, he's got guns, he's got knives. Listen, I never got shamed when I saved those people's lives. Okay. I never got any recognition either. You didn't see me on the news as the hero. Okay. But bottom line, the only thing I got out of that was a bottle of brandy, and I don't even drink from the couple.
I got my wife.
Yeah.
the little brag story myself. Basically,
It's an
information story. My wife, when she was staying with me, we were sleeping, and my neighbor comes down the stairs, knocks on the bedroom door, and he's like, "Hey, Shay's getting raped. We gotta go." And so I jump out of bed and I grab all the weapons in the room, and it was the same scenario. She had no fucking clue, like knives and swords and guns hanging all over the fucking place. And it's like, we left, we went, we held shit, we came back, and I had the hero's reward, and we've been together ever since.
Really?
Yeah, for real.
I never heard that story.
We went over there, beat the shit out of this guy, hung out in the closet while the cops showed up because we didn't want to get caught for beating the fuck out of the guy. And then we come back, and I'm haggard, tired. I throw open my French doors, and there she is sitting on the edge of the bed, sheet draped over her, and I just swoop her up and plant the first kiss on her. And yeah,
that's awesome.
We've been cuddling. That's it. We had nothing had happened between us. Nothing had happened between us yet. She'd only been stay the night.
That's quite an introduction.
Yeah, right. But it's yeah,
that's cool.
So it's true. Handle your shit.
Well, actually, so let me. There's 2 little points I want to add to that. One is the scariest thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. At my gun range, we had a guy kill himself once. I had to step over his body, get people out of there, no big deal. Another time, a guy accidentally shot himself. My buddy, who was a DEA SWAT medic, he ended up saving the guy's life. He was out there bleeding and stuff, no big deal. I pulled my gun on people. I pulled a knife on people before. I never had to use it. I could have legally shot the guy, but I didn't because I know it's still not, even if legally, if you can, it's still not great to do it because of the civil lawsuits and stuff. But the scariest moment ever in my life was with my ex-wife, my fiance at the time. We're living in an apartment complex, and all of a sudden it's like midnight, 1 a.m, and all of a sudden someone starts kicking on the door as hard as they can. And I see the door moving on the bottom, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I go running over to the door, look at the people, can't see it because they have it covered up with their thumb. And I'm like, holy shit, it's go time. I'm here with my fiance. All I'm thinking is I'm not a big guy, especially back then. And I'm like, man, they're going to fucking beat me up. They're going to rape her. I'm going to hear this happen. And I was like, go in the room, call 911. And at the time, all I had was a little revolver, a little J-frame, because I was a manager then. And I got rid of my Glock, and I was just carrying it on my ankle. And so I always had a ritual where I came home, I'd put it on the coffee table, and then I'd go to my bedroom and put it on the nightstand. Well, I'm looking for it. It's not on the night table or on a coffee table. So I'm looking around, boom, 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 nonstop. We're looking around, and I finally go in my bedroom, and I'd put it in there to be lazy because I didn't want to have to remember to take it to the other room. So luckily I found it, ran back over to the door, pointed through the door, and I go, who is it? And all of a sudden the thumb comes down, and it's 2 drunk college girls. And they go, is Heather here? And I'm like, you got the wrong fucking house. And they're like, sorry. And they leave. And I was like, holy shit. If shit happened right then, I was not ready. And if it was go time, if it was you 2 dudes coming through the door, and I only had a little revolver or something, and they're both big guys, would not have been good. So at that moment, I was like, I can never be in this situation again, ever, ever, ever. And that was, I had things that happened to me when I was younger. I had a dirtbag stepdad and stuff, and I wasn't able to protect myself and my loved ones. And so that was something that always was really inside me. But that moment was like, this is it. I need to change everything I'm doing. And everything I learn needs to be to protect myself and my loved ones. And really, another mindset for being a man is basically how we deal with shit. Because a lot of our life is just shit. Like you're talking about, the beginning of the year is already shit. It's all this shit that's happened. But you can either let it bring you down or you can fucking crush it. So I was like, all right, what can I start doing? So I started doing more martial arts, firearms training, edge weapon training, wilderness training, which you were talking about. We did that class. This year, what I'm going to be focusing on is medical training. Next year, I think I'm going to do like defensive tactical driving and like emergency urban rappelling and stuff. So I'm kind of like in my head kind of going, these are new things I want to focus on, which just areas of my life I know that I'm lacking, which, to segue back to it, at the seminar we were at long ago, where I was teaching online game and you were teaching the Becoming a Powerful Man, one of the homework assignments that Eric actually gave us was to come up with 50 life goals. And I remember sitting down trying to write it, and I came up with like 8 or 10, and they sucked. They were just real generic and stuff. And he gave us some time to work on it, and I was sitting there writing them out. And shit, this is like 7.5 years ago. And I'm trying to write it out, and even me being this PUA guy working for Style Life and doing all this cool shit, I had trouble coming up with it. And then after you critiqued them, like one of my goals was buy a motorcycle. And you're like, nope, that's not a good goal. You need to be specific. You need to say what model, what color, what engine size, what brand, and a time frame of when you're going to get it. Because otherwise, if you don't have this planned out, it's just a wish. It's just a dream. So I actually went home. What's that?
If it's not actionable, you're not going to do it.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, I need to fucking really work on this. So I came home and busted out my list, and that became a big thing on my life. I still have that goal list on my bookshelf right now. I still go back and check it. Part of me getting my instructor ranking in the Filipino knife fighting system I do, and I'm in the instructor training program now, is because of that goal list. The Triumph Thruxton I have parked out back right now for wintertime was on that goal list. Me losing weight was on that goal list. Me living in Flagstaff, Arizona, which is my dream town, was on that goal list. So all this stuff that was on that came from that seminar. So just FYI, guys, Eric is one of the guys that had a big impact on my life too.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, I'm glad that we're out of the weird phase of, these guys that we got labeled pickup artists. Like, I'm really glad it's out of that, because it was horrible going through it, because I wasn't a pickup artist before and I'm not a pickup afterwards. It did its popular thing and went on. So I'm glad to see, like I said, you're popping out, because anyone would be stupid not to train with you. And this is how strong positive role models work. Like, you've got 3 very masculine men here that, it's all about giving. Like, you've only given, I've only given, you've only given, and it's knowing where that is. As a matter of fact, I was in the gym today, and this is just kind of off. I like to branch off a little bit. But I was in the gym, and there was this black guy, and he looked great, man. And the other day in the gym, we kind of gave one of these things. I've never talked to him before, but he came, and we came at the exact same time. So, I looked over, he was talking about, he just shut some guy's trunk, a bunch of shit there. And I was joking to him. I go, it was probably like a bait trunk. And I go, when you passed, you would have ended up on YouTube, and he started laughing. And I go, let me ask you a question. I go, how many cycles around the earth have you spun? He's like, I don't think he understood the question. I go, in normal person's language, what did you, how old are you? And he was like 50. He was about my size, better, probably leaner than I was. And we just had a cool conversation. He's like, man, body, brain, spirit, but here's the guy already doing good. And you can look at the men, unfortunately, at this millennial age, and I don't know if it's all the plasticizers in the water that's bred these people, or not a lot of fatherly figures. We've done our best job. And I'd say that the guys that were searching, that were looking to be men, that wanted to be better, sought us out for these different things. And there's a lot of other men. But, the point is, like, there's a rare amount of men that do this, that want to do this, that want to protect, that want to do good. And the most alpha guys that I know, okay, every single one of them are givers. You know what I mean? They're all givers for the most part. They want to train, they want to teach, they want you to be better. Yeah. And there's so many wonderful things around that. And it's, and it's nice that we're kind of coming out, because it's like the real men are about to stand up, and the little boys are about to go in their corners and sit down and do their thing. And hopefully, there's a spark in life in everyone. So I do believe if they reassess themselves and say, okay, this is something, it's not an easy path. Like I said on my Facebook post after I posted that, like my house across the way just got robbed, over there, away from me. Good thing it's a good thing they didn't come in this house, because I probably wouldn't be in this call right now. I'd be probably in jail, or something like that.
Real consideration, man.
It is a real consideration. But there I went to go protect 7 girls that were getting, who knows what would have happened. But like I said, the bottom line is it just comes back to this, this giving. And I was going to go somewhere with it, but I got thrown off.
Well, let me jump in one thing, because that's something we encounter a lot with our gun classes and all of our tactical classes that we do. Is a lot of guys, like I have a lot of training, I have a lot of experience. You do too. So a lot, and also too, some people feel it's their moral obligation to protect other people and help other people. So when I teach my students, when we work with them, I would just say, hey, everyone has their own line. You guys can decide. Like one of my buddies who's like a ranger, who's a little out there after all this stuff for years, he was like, if I'm at a restaurant and there's a guy who comes in there and starts shooting up the place, he's like, I'm not even going to stop eating. He's like, until the muzzle's pointed at me, I'm not going to shoot the guy. I'm not even going to get involved, because that's everyone else's job, and their failure is why they're becoming victims. And I could shoot them and kill them and save the day, but then soccer mom over here sues me because the family's now traumatized and stuff. And I get what he's saying. However, I feel like I have a moral obligation to make the world a safer, better place and help other people in need. But I always tell all my guys, because some of the guys listening right now maybe don't think like I'm going to run over and help the neighbor's house, or like with me, I stopped like a carjacking once, and that's where I could have shot the guy illegally, and we called the cops and got him arrested and stuff. But I just say with everyone, it all depends on like how much training, how much experience, what they feel comfortable with. But ultimately, like, you have to be able to protect yourself. And if you're with your kids, or you're with your wife, or you're with your family, you have to be able to protect them. That's the minimum. That's the bottom line. Anything above and beyond that is making the world a better place and helping them. And it's great if you could do it, but if you don't have the training or the experience, sometimes the guys go out there and they actually make it worse, which I'm sure, being in fights in bars and stuff, how many people fucking jump in there trying to help and they just make it worse, and you just get out of there, man. I got this. One of those kind of situations.
There was a situation. I got some funny stories, man. There was a situation that happened at Pacers when I used to work at Pacers, and there was a cop in there, and he was belligerent. He was drunk. He was off duty. And him and his wife were in there, and they're like, throwing their shit. And I'm like, yo, dude, step outside, and he was being belligerent and shit like this. And I kept on saying, let me see your card. You're a cop. Let me see your card. Like, give me your card. They have to give you your card. Let me see. Prove to me that you're a cop, and this thing like this. And it went on and on. Finally, he was just like in the middle where everyone's walking in, and he elbowed a friend of mine, Chris, in the head, and it was on. It was funny because I was filming the whole thing with one hand. I was like, like, I'm dealing with an officer here. I'm going to film this because I want to. So I had one hand, literally grabbed him, like took him with one hand, brought him to the ground. His face went scraping across the ground. He had a big cut on his fucking face, and he's like, I'm a fucking cop, and he was hurting, and it was gravel, like it wasn't smooth. It was gravel, like he was fucked up. And I was sitting there, and my guys, I told, like, the one manager grabbed the guy's feet, and the other guys should have, okay, and this is one of the reasons why they weren't trained properly, but they didn't want to listen to my ideas at the time. They didn't set up a perimeter. And then the guy's wife comes up and boom, kicks my friend Mario right in the face. And I was pissed at the guys. I'm like, your job is to protect this situation. Yeah. We're down here. And bottom line, the guy got up, and when the cops got there, I had him like this. And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, you're going to YouTube, bro. Yeah. And I just he's like, fuck yeah, well, you're going to YouTube. I never put it up because I didn't do that. Matter of fact, I didn't even show up when they called me into court because I'm not like a rat. You know what I mean? Yeah. Guy had a bad day. I don't know what happened from there, but they're like, will you show up? Can we have the video? I said, no. I said, I'm sure he's learning his lesson right now, because I showed the video to the cop when he got there. He told his story, like cop bros, friends. And I said, yeah, why don't you watch this, bro? And he's like, oh, well, you're going to have to give him back to the car. But when they called me to court, I was like, never showed. So the bottom line is kind of going back to this, like it talks about protecting those near you, and being, when I said legendary, because on one of my Facebook posts, I said, I could tell this is going to be a legendary year. And it has been. And legendary means to me, like, I'm going to get all kinds of crazy shit thrown at me because, it's going to test me. And I'm already tested. I'm well tested. I'm 23 years strip club tested, so I already have like deep roots and powerful centers in me. But when I said legendary, I mean like already starting from the beginning. It's already starting, boom. But where I'm at, hey, boom, replace everything. It's okay. Like meditate on it. Get, so you did a 5-day fast on it. Start eating good. Know that it's going to come, and am I prepared for the battle ahead of us? And I think 2017 is going to be a very interesting year, especially here in America. And you're either going to be on point or you're not.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. And those that are prepared will be prepared, and those that aren't, well,
catch up. Yeah. I think the thing that has been resonating with me here listening to you guys talk is basically I think of myself as the king, and the king of my own domain. I'm also a warrior king. And when you were saying service, like my job is to caretake my people, my kingdom. And that's ultimately the frame that I try and hold through everything, decisions I make or whatever.
Get that, politicians? The main job of a king, okay, and people of service is to serve the people, not yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do all the work. I delegate, and I have others that do in my kingdom. And I have no problem with others being in charge in my kingdom, others leading and taking control, because it's less fucking work for me. You know what I'm saying? But it's also like
service. By the way,
service.
I was going to ask you, he came here. What can I do for you? Like, to be a king is to be like a person who's like, what do you need? Because a king knows that his energy, he is self-contained and his cup floweth over.
Yeah.
That's the way it is, because he's done his work. He's put his stuff in. Okay, but it's about service, because it's like, I'm content. I feel good. Like, Slavey right now, fucking what's up, man? I'm going there going, yo, where's the VIP entrance to this place? Okay, because I've done my work. I know it. I've done a lot of good work, and like I said, with the service, as far as that goes, like I'm going to be like, hey, I was going to go up there and see if you wanted a tea. It's a very wonderful Coca-Cola ginkgo tea that I made myself. Yeah. It doesn't taste too good, but actually, you want to test it?
That's right.
But that's the whole thing. Like, whereas these weird power wanting guys that are like the politics, like politics that are out there. They're trying to get power for whatever reason. That's not what power is. There's no satisfying in that, and then that's the whole point. Like, if it was run by people that are just like, hey, cool, it's about the people. Like this new neck tattoo that I got. Is that on that side? Yeah. It says Earthling, because I'm tired of the race thing of white, black. I'm an Earthling. I'm of the earth. I'm of the earth and, the skies. And that's what I am. I'm particle dust for the most part with a spirit. And, my whole thing is like, look, we're part of the same fucking people. Bottom line, like, quit this shit. It's all stupid. This is, stupid shit. Anyways, the point is, real masculine men that look at themselves with the king energy and lover energy, and we all got all this. We go through the whole fucking rotation, king, lover, magician, warrior, hunter, whatever it is. We go through that, and all of us have got beat down, and all of us have got grinded through every single one of them. Yeah. But at the end, we're like, okay, you want to come through this? It's an initiation. There you go. Sorry,
it's really interesting to me that you brought up all those different archetypes, and that's something I've talked about for years with my guys. But I think nowadays in society, I mean, video games, World of Warcraft, guys can spend literally thousands of hours playing an imaginary video game character, a barbarian, a warrior, a paladin, a sage, a wizard, and spend all this time leveling up this imaginary character. And then when the new World of Warcraft game or whatever comes out, then that character's obsolete and you got to do it all again. Now, I admit, like, I played some of the Star Wars games, and those were kind of fun and going through the Jedi training and stuff. But I don't get immersed in that. And I also realized very early on that, like, I'm the video game character. That if I'm going to spend all those hours, if I'm going to spend those 10,000 hours mastering something, why the fuck would I do it like as an imaginary fucking character when I could do it for myself? And it's interesting when you get into, like, video games and the research and, like, the psychology and the fucking doctors that have helped them develop those games and the reward systems that are built into them. The fucking, not tokens, the achievements unlocked and all that stuff. Like, that's programmed to keep you playing. Whereas, like, when we were younger, you beat Super Mario Brothers or whatever, you beat it once, you're like, okay, I'm kind of done with it. But people stick around and play all of it. So it's interesting you guys are talking about those different archetypes, because that's something that just clicked in my head just years ago. I was like, why would I play World of Warcraft? I'd rather be the fucking guy. Yeah, so that's why I went out and trained and learned all these things so I can do that.
Well, I mean, it comes down to this. Like, I like to play like video games because I want to keep up with the technology, and I look at it like what's going on in the deeper layers, and they've come a long way. And so I look at it as far as like programming and the Hypnotica, for development, because I'm looking into the virtual reality. I know that's where it's going. I've already seen it. Matter of fact, I think I'm the first person ever in the world. Like, I'm going to claim this. I'm going to claim like John Neil Armstrong and up in space. Like, I did virtual reality on a full dose of not mescaline, ketamine.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, like, I videotaped it because I'm like, here I go, I'm going in, because you're within a reality within another virtual reality. It's like a double reality. And I was doing this, and I was going through this thing called Through the Body, where you're dropping in. It's so cool. Like, this is the future of education, man. You're dropping into the blood zone. So you're sitting literally in virtual reality in the middle of a blood vessel. And you're like in this chair, and drops you. You start floating there. Oh, this is the macrophage going by, and this is the red blood cell, and this is on the wall the cholesterol, and boom, you go through it, and you're dropping down lower and lower. And I'm on this not mescaline, ketamine, and I'm like, and I'm sitting there. I'm like scared shitless. Like, it's like voyage time. I'm like scared. My breathing's up. I'm like, everything cool, and and then I have my roommate who does Dread Central. I'm sitting in this horror room, and I'm thinking, part of me is going, fuck, this is scary. It's super vulnerable to be in virtual reality because your reality is not even there. There's another security thing. When people start going to these virtual reality things, they are not aware of the other world around them. Yeah. So I'm getting nervous. I'm thinking Dread Central. I'm like, fuck, what? And like, he could have a fucking machete, So I got that going on. I don't know, I'm going through this dropping in, which I'm already getting these visual reflex, especially on ketamine. Like, I went on probably about 5 minutes into it, and I was like, backed out. I was like, okay, I gotta come out of it. It's too much. I'm all, now put me in the, and I said, this is funny. Now put me in the zombie apocalypse virtual reality. So then I was on mescaline going through a zombie apocalypse, people running up. It was definitely a trip, man. But but that's the whole thing with video game. Like, I want to dabble in the technology and see what's going on, because I don't want a kid to outmaneuver me. You know what I mean? So on that level, I'm keeping yourself up to date. Yeah, keeping myself up to date.
Whoever just joined in, can you mute yourselves?
I'm gonna mute. Who is it? There you go. It was you, my friend. Mute. Did I mute anybody? Yeah. You're good.
Yeah. It's interesting because
let me out here like to this stuff too, because if I can figure out how to get this off of Anytime meeting app and put it out there. Like, do I got your permission? Because I think this is such a powerful, useful communication that we're having to post it and to share it with people, because there's lots of guys that just don't know. Like, we're in the Trinity right now, masculine men talking about, like, this is what guys talk about, besides pussy and making money and things like this, like real like shit. Like, yeah, what are you gonna do to man up?
Yeah, totally right.
What are you gonna do to man up? Okay, so
that's what your brothers do. They hold you accountable.
Yeah.
And for us, like with my friends and with some of the guys who are like my coaches on my site and that help me out with my seminars and stuff, like, we all know that we can call each other on our shit. And that's one of the first lessons. I just posted a review from a one-on-one I did. And the guy said specifically at the beginning, he's like, now be careful, because when you come here, like, it can hurt your ego, because Steven gives it to you straight. He's not going to, I don't pull punches. That one of the things that, and I was just talking about this with the chick the other night. One of the things is most people in your life don't actually tell you what you need to hear. They're sugarcoating or lying because they're imagining that they need to protect your feelings, and they think they're telling you what you should hear, but not what you need to hear. And so one of the things I do with one-on-ones all the time, right at the beginning, I go, okay, you're cool with this because I'm going to give it to you straight. We used to call it Bravo Straight Talk, but I go, are you ready for it? Because it's going to come at you straight. And they go, yeah. And I go, okay, man, your nose hair is fucking growing out. You got to trim that. Your teeth are all fucked up. You got to go to the dentist. Your body posture is horrible. You look like a pussy. Your shoulders are shrunk down. Your breath stinks. Your eye contact's too intense. You look creepy. Your clothes are horrible. Your jeans are baggy. The jean color, that's like what I used to wear in high school. Your shoes are ugly, and you need to lose some weight. Boom, 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 boom. And that afterwards, every single guy, I've never had a guy ever go, that sucks, I hate you, or anything. Every single one of them's like, wow, no one's ever told me that stuff before. And so me and my friends, we all have that open communication.
And this also, listen, guys, if you're listening to this, this works for chicks too. It's they can take it, you can take it. Because I'm that guy in the strip club. Women come up to because they know they're going to get a brutally honest answer. They'll come up to me all the time. They're all, does this outfit? What do you think about? Like, give me the whole lowdown.
Yeah.
And I'll look at them. I'll be like, all right, first of all, I don't like that color on you. Second of all, you're wearing this SpongeBob SquarePants fucking shirt. I'm like, your body's, your body's like more slender. You're wearing this. You're blocking yourself out.
Yeah.
I go, second of all, I can tell right now you just got back from the smoking patio. You smell like fucking shit. Your breath smells like smoke, and you didn't put any body spray on. Yeah. And I'm like, and you think you're gonna make money? Like, what guy wants to pay $20? But that's his fantasy, to sit with a smoke-filled, smoke breath, smoke hair, SpongeBob SquarePants that, behind all that is good. And they're just like, I'm like, look, all you gotta do is do this, go brush yourself off, do this, go out there, come on, and
change
it up, make it right. Yeah. And women, they completely appreciate it. So the point I was trying to make to frame this is, if women can take it, if a guy's like, hey dude, like, here you go, like, do this, man the fuck up, because that's what happens. Okay, there's no Play-Doh, and there's no little safe spaces, and there's no crayons that you can go color bad people with. Like, deal with it, because this is fucking life.
And going off of what you said just real quick with the women's clothing, it's interesting because years ago, and a lot of guys hate shopping with women, but when you actually have women in your life,
you find the women you like, you're attracted to, you take them shopping, and they help you pick your fucking clothes out, because they know what's what.
Damn. And they'll play fashion show for you because they know you're the one who wants to. Even ex-girlfriends of mine will send me pictures and, hey, what do you think of this? What's this outfit? So you could be a guy who doesn't understand it, or you can understand it, appreciate it, and they know that you're going to give it to them straight. And you give them, the most important thing though is not just giving them brutal honesty. It's actually giving them brutal honesty, but there's also useful information with it.
It's constructive. It's good. You know your shit. Like, if I didn't work 23 years in the strip club, and
exactly,
be around, I wouldn't be able to say this. So,
and I've seen the girls that John surrounds himself with too, and he knows about women, he knows about sexuality. It's clear.
Yeah, it's the thing.
It's valuable.
Years, and it's like, as a DJ, and like the women, like, they don't recognize, like, they have really great long legs and a short upper body, and so they wear these little fucking dresses, the tops that truncate their body, and they look weird, and like they're just legs.
Or those fat girl dresses that the dress shirt.
Yeah.
And they're hot, and they should be wearing that because it's their frumpy fat friend looks.
Why you gotta be so chauvinistic?
Hey, the world, there's guys that like that. I like little petite girls, and everyone has their own flavor. So
there's great NLP positioning of physical language. There's some great lines like that.
And actually, it's funny because I have my Bob statue.
Really
I have my Bob training partner, and I'm pointing at him as I'm doing it right now too.
But to bring it back to,
but like Bob likes fatties.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
But to bring it back, like my men's team, my guys, the Forge, you need to have a core group of men that you can create that experience, and using the bad word here, the PC space, the safe space, create the experience where you can fucking have a moment where you and your guys just shoot straight with each other. This is confidential space. I need to fucking dump. I need to drop all the shit that's bugging me. I need to know that it stays here, it dies here. I need to be able to come and bring my shit to you guys and have you fucking call me out on it. I need to have, don't tell me what to do. Ask me the questions to help me figure it out. That is a whole different fucking world than, just a bunch of guys talking shit at each other and tearing each other down. Yep. That's a different conversation. What I'm talking about is, we are here to be better men, and because we're here to be better men, we're not going to let you get away with that shit. We're going to find out what your core values are. We're going to find out what your truth is, and we're going to hold you to your standards. I mean, not my standards. I mean, I got different moral values than you do, but if that's your problem and that's your fucking thing, what are your standards around that? And let's get this worked out. And like, don't let you slip. Don't let your men slip. That's a problem that I see too much with these guys. They let these other guys get away with bullshit they wouldn't. Why would you let anyone go with talking that way to somebody else, acting that way towards somebody else, fucking up your life? It's like, no, call your fucking humans out. They'll respect you more for it.
Like, to me, the safe spot, like, there's only one true safe spot, and that's in here.
Yeah.
You're right here. Okay, you get your shit right, you know yourself, you walk around with a sense of safety. Like, when people call white people, like, I did a poem about it. It goes, honky crackers, it goes honky crackers, ghetto lackers, KKK, street attackers, chinks, fobs, wops, and niggas, homosexual dykes and jiggers, all the jabs, gooks, then there's Jews. All can be found within the sloughs. Unless you're brave and filled with love, peace will exist without a shove. And it basically comes down to this. Like, even with people like their safe space, like someone calls someone like, not me, I would personally do it, but someone says, hey, nigger, okay? And black people get offended. To me, that's like you're a slave to the language. You know what I mean? Like yeah, it can be offensive, but you're reacting to it. Like, true freedom in your neurology is so someone says, hey, you fucking crap, fucking piece of shit motherfucker, and I've had people do that and spit in my face, I'm still in my space. Like, you haven't thrown me off. You know, when you're leveraged and you have people say stuff like that or whatever, true freedom, true rise above the mundane or the programming is to look at that person like they're just a piece of shit.
Freedom is not away from, it's towards.
Yeah, and think of this too. I'm going to pitch cheetahs right here down here in San Diego, but I think the safest places for men, okay, and this is very fortunate that we have these, okay, and a lot of people don't like them, and in San Diego, they really need help because our convention center is never going to grow and thrive without this, is the strip clubs. You know, people don't really know these stats, but men over, I think it's 40 or something like this, there's like a 4-to-1 more suicide rate because these men do not have places to go to talk about things like this. And, you know, a lot of girls get on strippers about, you know, oh, they're whores or whatever. Listen, I know more strippers that have saved guys' lives than probably you ever have because guys go in there and they talk their story. So It's not all about the grind. It's about any dancer that's listening right now, any exotic woman, any temple dancer is what I call them, because that's what they were 3,000 years ago.
Yep.
Okay, they were to inspire the masses. They were to inspire the generals, the creativity, the inspiration. You know, they sit and they listen to them a lot, and they listen to them, and a lot of women are like secret therapists.
Yeah.
And so when guys are coming in here, it's their only safe space because there's not a lot of men's group or men defined. So they go in there and they do this, and they go in here because also when you're 40, okay, the stereotype is, you know, oh, you're not, you know, how do you do that when you're you know, we'll talk into what we kind of talked about now a little bit about being a man and you just got a divorce. You don't have any game. You don't have any skill. You don't know where to go. Like, you don't have like we are a good base to choose from. All of the guys, the Hypnotica Dominance 101, you know, I mean, Stephen Grosch now, I don't know, you still have your other stuff. You're amazing.
Yeah, it's StephenGrush.com.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is where does a man go? He doesn't know even where to start. And so that's why there's a high suicide rate over that. And one of the things down here is that I have an issue with is like physical touch communication. Like, you know, this is the war on men that we're saying. They're trying to shut down strip clubs. When I first was here 23 years ago, there was like 8 strip clubs with alcohol. Now we're San Diego, 7th largest economy pretty much in the nation. We have 2 strip clubs because they've come down. They've been trying to shut down Cheetahs because they went in there they said it was just to check IDs, but they went in with a full SWAT team, you know, 11 guys. We have a lawsuit with the city trying to not scare everyone off, but, you know, they if they were just checking IDs, they made the girls, this is not in their permit, okay? They made the girls basically strip down. They wanted to take photos of their nude. They had them stripped down to take photos of their tattoos. That was not a part of the bargain, and they pushed that, and we fought it. We stood up for the women, said, that's complete bullshit. If you don't check IDs, you come in here with maybe a woman, vice cop or whatever, you check IDs like this. You don't scare our customers. You don't come in here and basically harass the girls and tell them to get out of their outfits so they can take body shots of them and stuff like this. Complete 100% bullshit. So on that level, it's that. But the whole point is, you know, guys come in here and physical touch. If a baby is born and it's not touched, it dies. Yeah. So all these men that do not have any women contact, you know, to have a woman like kind of, you know, get on you and you know, just do her thing and absorb yourself in that feminine process is a powerful thing.
My wife talks about this a lot. My wife's favorite nights at work is she'll come home from the club and she'll be like, oh, this guy just got through this divorce. He has a sexless relationship for 7 years. Hasn't been told he looks handsome, and I just spent the evening with him made him feel good, you know. And he was all depressed, and he left, and and then like a week will go by, and he comes back in. He's got a girlfriend, and like just because.
Yep.
Like
that's the safest place.
That's the fucking thing.
The second safest place in America. The first is in your head. Second, for men, if you want to get out there, strip clubs. Hey, it's a commodity. You're going to pay for it, but you know what? You're still getting it.
It's interesting you guys are talking about that because for me, when I first grown up Catholic, altar boy, all that stuff I talked about, and then after my divorce, and I was like crushed, like I felt like total like damaged goods. A thing that really helped me was actually I had hurt my back from training, from doing martial arts, and I started getting massages. And I had always avoided them because I was like, oh, I feel uncomfortable. This girl's kind of rubbing on me, and I get turned on and stuff. But I actually needed to get one, and then she ended up giving me like a glute massage, which we all know is like one of the most amazing, like even a real legit therapeutic one is one of the most amazing things ever, let alone a dirty one with a hot girl, but who's naked rubbing on you. But anyways, getting that actually was the thing that kind of gave me my awakening and started getting me in contact and grounded and being familiar and comfortable with women's touch.
Yeah. When you don't know how to touch, massage is a fantastic way to learn how to be in the moment with a woman who's giving you physical touch in your body in places you don't normally get, and learn how to ground yourself, be in yourself, control your energy, receive, be caretaking.
Huge for me.
Yeah, huge.
So women support strip clubs because you're breeding better guys out of there. You're saving men's lives. So when you're hating a strip club, you're basically saying, hey guys, go fuck yourself. There's no place in society, because we all know that a lot of women these days, if an older man's around, they're like, oh, he's a creeper. They're putting that blame, shame, defame, and men are like not having it anymore. I mean, with these new robots that are happening with the virtual reality and shit like this, like women, this is a wake-up call for you, okay? Like you should know your basics as a woman, as any man should as well, is, your thing in the kitchen. And I don't mean like this, like in a bad way, like you belong in the kitchen, but if you have a family, it is your duty to make sure that kid that you have probably in yourself is well nutritioned, that you're making your own meals, because that's what's healthy. It's not healthy to eat processed food, to go out all the time. You're killing yourself, you're killing your family, and that's the worst thing a person do. If you really want to be a real woman, learn to cook, just as I've learned to cook, to prepare food, grow my own food, which I do. All right. So these are things that we're just, like I said, this is kind of a blast session. We haven't been together.
All of us
for
right.
a while.
Like fuck girls. No, so we love women. We love them.
Johnny Soporno's thing so good in Vegas, because we got all these guys out here that are just powerhouses going, there you go, Johnny, I'm putting you out there on that level. The Successful Man Conference, in Vegas. And it gets wild, because then we all kind of let loose.
We all get together.
And we're already pretty loose.
Totally.
We had that circle masters last time, which was just awesome. We sat around for like 3 hours. Just and you guys are talking. I'm sitting there going, oh, that's good shit. And we're all helping each other too, because we have
with me, right?
Yeah.
Remember
I saw you at the bar having fun.
I think when we first walked in, I'm like, look, I look over at the bar, we're all meeting at the center place. And so I walk in, I instantly just grab like girls. I'm grabbing girls, like, come over here, come over here. I just sat them there, and I just basically, because there's some guys that were sitting there that were from it, and they interacted. So, we're all talking about some deeper issues here. Brought them all to the table, like, flirting with them like this. But then I kind of just let back and let the other guys, because they were afraid to walk up there. And so I just brought in a whole bunch of girls and kind of sat down. And then all of a sudden, all the other guys were interacting with them. And that's what helping is. We're not all like, that's my chick, that's your chick, that's my chick. It's stupid shit. Stupid shit.
There's enough to go around.
Yeah, and we all understand this. So.
Yeah.
And if the girl likes me, she's going to come to me. If all it takes, way back in the day when we were doing the Sergeant PUA thing, before we ever met Neil or anything, which is also funny too, because I read that book and I remember reading the routines and all this stuff in there.
Book?
The game. And I remember reading some of the routines and I was like, this is gay as shit. So I understood the formula and why some stuff worked, but I never used it or did it until I started working for Neil. And then I was like, oh, I guess I should probably do some of these routines and stuff. So even back then I wasn't doing it. I was doing my own stuff and I had my own style and everything. But then I was like, I guess I should use some of these routines. And by then I could make them work. But nothing was more sad or pathetic than a guy going out and trying to use some other guy's routine or pickup line or something like that, who also doesn't understand it.
Like,
but then, So then we were out with my wingman, and I remember once, like, he was talking to a girl, and he pulled me away from some girls to talk to her friend, because he's like, oh, you need to occupy the obstacle, which is such a PUA way of thinking. Like, hey, I'm fine talking to 2 chicks. I'm fine talking to 5 chicks. I can handle it. But he's like, I got to go talk to this girl over here. Can you talk to this girl? And it was so awkward and weird. And then he was like, hey, could you show her that one little bar magic trick you were showing? And he starts walking away with his girl. And then the girl that he was trying to get away with, she stops and she's like, wait, I want to see a bar trick, and comes back over. And so then later in the night, he's furious at me. He's super angry. And he's like, dude, you blew me out. And I was like, what? I didn't even do anything. You're the one who said it. And he's like, you blew me out, man. You blew my girl out. And I was like, hey, if that's all it took for that girl not to want to go over there and talk to you, that's
Right.
a bigger sign than just this trick. Because if I'm talking to a girl and she sees Eric and wants to go talk to him, or John and likes the long beard, which I can't grow. I was just trying to grow one like a month ago the other way. It looked like Teen Wolf. It did not look good. The girl looks good. But anyways, if she likes that, great. There's nothing I'm going to do or some little routine that's going to make her not be attracted to him and somehow get tricked into digging me. And I know who I am. I'm grounded in who I am. And I'm really good at conveying an accurate snapshot of who I am to other people. And it gives them the ability to recognize that I'm awesome, or to go, hey, he's not a Bernie Sanders supporter. I don't want to be around him or anything. So it gives people the opportunity to realize that I'm someone they want to get to know and be around, or they don't. And if they don't want to be around, why would I want to waste time? Why would I want to invest any energy or time into this person if they don't dig me? So it's a whole different reality for guys who are squared away.
I mean, we could go in so many
directions. Yeah. Being grounded is fucking half the battle. Being comfortable as yourself, and like respecting and loving and caring yourself, and walking from that place in the world, as opposed to like trying to be something that you think you should be. Fuck that. Just be you and be the best you. And
where does that vision come from? It's from Lifetime and fucking shitty feminist movies. It's from stupid people who don't have their shit together trying to tell you how you should live your life or what they imagine someone else should be, and they have no clue what's important to you. So it's the least qualified people in the world telling me how to be me.
Right. It's like when I started Forge, the thing that was the crystalline part that made it different from what I was doing before was I need to know what your values are. I need to know what your core values are around family. I need to know what your core values are around friends. I know what your core values are around community, war, violence, money. What is your core values around work ethic? What are your core values around, ownership, trust, honor? What are your core values around these? What does that mean to you? And is it fucking regurgitated, or is it truly your vision of what it means to be your version of a man? And when I know what that is for you, I mean, I'm gonna grill you on it and find out if it's truly yours or mom and dad's. And when I know it's yours, that's what I can work with.
And a lot of guys don't even know that.
Yeah, totally.
That's not only not know it, they've never even thought of it.
That's the scary part.
Yeah, and it's like, but once I got that shit figured out, once I know what that is with you, when you are going through life and you're fucking up, I can say, hey, you know how you have a value around this? You're not walking it. You're not walking it. Walk your fucking talk, dude. Be it. You're a man. You can change your fucking mind. But when you grow up, you start creating this internal image of what it means to be a man for yourself.
For yourself, exactly.
And that's
it. Letting it go. Crossing the line. This is the line between boyhood and manhood. That line is called responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Anyone that's blaming responsibility, like the left, okay, the blame. No, they don't got it. They're lying. They're fucked up. Okay, so those people taking responsibility and understanding it, and like I said, I call guys. I don't call too many men.
Yeah.
Right? Because there is a difference. And if you cross that line from boyhood to masculinity, have you stepped over responsibility and said, hey, okay, no more bullshit, no more excuses, like it's on. And you know what? And it's another battle. Like I said, it's not, once you cross that line, you're not like, I'm a man. It's like life says, oh yeah, check this out.
You earn that title every day.
Yeah, it's the heroic Greek story. Like you're going to be challenged. How you choose to react, because I have a phrase: suffering is optional, and it is true. You can be in pain, you can be homeless, you can be injured, you can be damaged, you can be in a shit situation. You don't have to suffer. Mm-hmm. You have resources.
Yeah.
And
life's gonna make you suffer. Don't worry, there's plenty of that later.
Life's gonna see your ego, and it's gonna challenge you. And like how you handle it, how you handle the moment, how you handle the experience, how you step up, how you rise. That's what's character building. That's what creates character. That's what creates respect in the world around you, because people see how you handle that stuff. And when you get to the point where that's slaying the dragon is just a Tuesday. That's just Tuesday.
And it could be, listen, and we're not saying that it's just like all there. Like I call it like a little grace period. I call it, you can have a complaining quota. That's what I say to the dancers when they come to me and they're bitching. I go, stop. Your fucking complaining quota's up. Ain't having it no more. All right. But you could have that like a little bit. There's a little time like when my house got robbed, across the way. Like I was like, okay, I went through my little fucking thing, and it's like a grace period where you're like, okay, like life's grinding you out a little bit, but which side are you gonna flip? And then a couple days, not a couple days when you get your house ripped off and a bunch of other shit going on at the same time, and you're 5 days into a fast, you could be a little emotional.
Shit can happen.
So,
but the point it's okay for people to have time to mourn. It's okay for people to have time to be pissed off. Those are all emotions. The difference is we're not controlled and ruled by those.
We call it a dump.
We feel them and pass through them.
Yeah, in Forge we call it a dump, and the idea is that you have your dump and like fucking let it out. Like every last bit of shit, anger, upset, hurt, whatever it is, get it all out, and we're gonna check it. No, more. You got more in there. Get it all out, because our mentality is once you've had your dump,
it's gone.
It's done.
That's what, and this comes with like assertive energy. Okay, a lot of people are like, they're so stuck into this, like, I am completely 100%, I really believe I'm like one of the happiest people on the planet. Dalai Lama, me and him are probably like equal to equal. And my whole point is, there's times where they're like, well, you get pissed off sometimes. Yeah, it's normal. Like, when are you going to sit back and, if someone hits your friend, sit there and go, oh, that's not, no, it's about this masculinity. Like, sometimes there's fire, sometimes there's fire where you're out there and you're like, ain't happening, no fucking way, like, fuck this shit. And you feel it, and you let it go. And there's different ways that people acclimate it. Like, I'm like a pot. Like, you just can't come back to me 5 minutes later and be like, hey, cool. Like, my acclimating time it could be
takes a little downtime.
It could be a couple hours where I go off and do this. But the point is, as masculine men and talking about energy, is be okay with like having that fire, not violently. Anytime you put your hands on a person, you've missed it.
There's a moment of choice.
Yeah.
There's always a moment of choice. This is the thing I was talking about, suffering optional. Like, there's a moment of choice, and I used to be a very, very violent guy. I grew up, I had no self-control.
We talked about
Now I have tons of self-control.
I'm going to make you that water.
Oh, thank you. I have tons of self-control. And the thing is, man, there's the moment of choice. Like, you can catch your phrases. You think before you fucking speak. You catch what you're about to say. You can be fully charged, fully upset, fully in the moment, and stop. What I want to do. Do I want to knock this fucker out? No, that's not the best. That's not the best option. Do I want to find the solution? Do I want to be amicable? Do I want to educate this person? Do I want to just remove myself from the situation? Do I want to take over the situation? Do I want to take control and be the leader here because that person dropped the ball? Or do I want to be irritated? It's a moment of choice. And those moments of choice, like I live by a higher standard. I choose that standard. And I meet people, my idea is to hold them to their higher standard. And when you start living this way, where you expect better of everyone around you, and you expect them to be at their highest, and you expect them to perform at their best, surprisingly, they do. Surprisingly, people do. And it's like that moment when the guy is drinking and starts to get sloppy, you can stop him and go, just because you've been drinking does not mean you get to be a mess. If you're going to be a mess and you're choosing that, you're also choosing these consequences. And by holding a higher standard for myself, like I have 2 for the year. And I allow myself 2 times to get drunk. And I mean shit-faced drunk. I don't always take them. But when I do those times, I set it up ahead of time. I let people know, hey, I'm planning to get shit-faced drunk. I might need a babysitter. But I'm choosing that. It's not choosing me. I'm in control. Freedom is not freedom from responsibility. It's freedom towards responsibility. It's freedom towards managing and being in charge and respecting and creating the life that you want.
And I think what you said is really powerful. Just jump in. You said, because we all have those feelings where we get angry, we get mad. Do I want to knock this guy out? Do I want to remove myself? A lot of times for me, it's like I don't have the energy to deal with this stuff. A lot of times I just, okay, cool. You guys are having a conversation, great. It's not even worth my time. But the big thing I think is, as you level up, and at the beginning it's hard because you are slave to your emotions and you're reacting. But you start having those moments where you're like, okay, that didn't work well last time. Let me try a different tactic. And you do it once, so you do it a second time. And pretty soon that just becomes your new default setting.
It's just natural. It becomes what you do. Yeah.
And that's if you look at the timeline between another guy and like us, the guys who like have dealt with this shit, that's like the only little added piece of the puzzles. There's just that moment to reflect and think and calm down for a second and not be ruled by our emotions, but to actually control them, because we know when you get ruled by emotions, it never works out well.
Yeah. When I get angry or I get upset today, it's different than what it used to be like then. Then if I got angry or upset, you never knew what could happen. I mean, I could knock a motherfucker out. I could start a brawl. I could start a bar brawl. You know,
but things that used to get you angry years ago, how much of those things just use you now?
Nothing. They're nothing to me now. When I'm triggered now, when I'm about to get upset, it's usually because I care so much. I care about the person in front of me. I'm passionate about the person in front of me, or I care about the topic so much that I get really worked up. And when I feel that adrenaline spike kick in, that's the time I know to stop and take 2 breaths. Because if I don't, I will be out of control, and I don't want to be out of control. I'm king, God damn it. I'm a warrior king, but I'm king, and you know, I'm also a lover. You know, I'm romantic.
And you said you're the king, and Hypnotica, Eric was talking about being the paladin, the warrior monk too. And so I definitely have a lot of that warrior vibe in me. And actually that's why I don't get drunk. That's why I don't do any mind altering substances. And I think they should all be legal, but I'm not into that stuff, because I think, shit, if I'm not, to me, that's the one time I'm going to need my skills. It's like when I'm inebriated or something. That's the one time I might fuck up and think something's going on. Maybe I do a mind altering substance and I think Bob's a zombie, and I rip his heart out or something, or take his brainstem, and it turns out to my best friend. So that's why I avoid those things. But even that's a conscious decision, because I go, hey, I know if I do this, there might be some ramifications, and I'm going to draw my line here, and other people can draw their lines there, and everyone's cool as long as they don't negatively affect anyone else. And so even that's just a conscious thought as a man. It
boils down to intention, right? And my mindset, even I have compartmentalized communities of friends, and you know, in my friends and across all the boards, all my communities, there is no room with us for you to get sloppy. Just because you drink something or you imbibe something does not mean you have an excuse to behave badly. Period.
Yep.
End of story. Even if you took an epic dose of whatever, it's not an excuse for you to be out of control. When people are out of control, they chose it. And so for us, in my community of friends, if you're going to do anything mind altering for us, it's with intention. So we've
talked about that before too.
Yeah, friends of mine and I, we've created the intention game, and I'll share it with you guys right now, because I fucking think the whole world needs to have this. If you're about to imbibe something that's going to change your psyche, you know, a psychedelic of some kind, or a ecstasy, a DMT, or anything, acid specifically, mushrooms specifically, play the intention game. And here's how it goes. What I'm willing to let go of. So what I'm willing to let go of right now is nervous energy, the frustration I had with the argument I had with my girlfriend on the way over here, this phone call I had with my dad, a bad day at work. I'm willing to let go of this thing. So now you've created this cavity inside you. I'm willing to let go of these things. Blah, 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 blah. And the list can be huge. The list can also be, you don't have words to describe this thing you want to get rid of. You just know it's a yucky feeling. So the idea is you just kind of energetically create this ball of energy and all the yucky shit you want to get rid of. I'm willing to let go of this, and you let it go. And now, great, you created this cavity inside you. So you need to fill it up. So I'm willing to receive. I'm willing to receive love, joy, respect, and with psychedelics particularly, you can receive a lot of conscious thought. I'm willing to receive the answer to the solution to the thing that I'm working on. I'm willing to receive insights to the formula that I'm working on. I'm willing to have things work in the background that help me understand or see the spot that I was blind to, so that I can fix this problem. I'm willing to receive playfulness, psychedelics, fun, joy, sexy, good time. I'm willing to receive. And then my intention for the night. And this is the tricky one. You don't say shit like, oh, I'm intending to get fucked up, or I'm willing to receive anything the universe will give me. Yeah, you'll get your ass spanked. You say, my intention for the evening is to be love, be joy, be the excitement, be fun. My intention tonight is to connect deeply with my friends and have an amazing, epic night. My intention for the evening is to be the caretaker. My intention for the night is to be the one that shows you things you've never seen before. My intention tonight is to be the guy that makes all of us laugh. My intention tonight. And as soon as you're done, imbibe, take it then. Because your last thoughts going into a psychedelic or a mind-altering whatever, that's your entire high. So if you play the intention game, by the end of your 12-hour ride or whatever you do, it's amazing how much you get, all the things you asked for. Everybody. So if you do it with the whole group, now everyone's listening to each other. You've set the container, and now you all have a very ritualistic but intentional play fun time. Like, yes, you can play and be silly and, you know, play stupid games and be loud and laugh and have a good time. But amazingly, all the stuff you asked for shows up. Oh, dude, this is that thing you asked for. Oh, my God. You know, it's like, you know, you asked to be laughing silly till you almost lost your breath. Look at you rolling on the floor right now. I mean, like, you know, you wanted to have that insight on your relationship thing. So-and-so just was discussing this. Check this out. You know, and it just shows up in the space. And so to me, being intentional about what you do in your life is everything. There's no room for being slacky and lazy and well, I'm not in charge. Let someone else be responsible for that crap. Fuck you.
I mean, one of the things I do is like when I'm on point, okay, and you know, I can go back and forth a little bit, but you know, I think you know, I think what's the purpose of the day? Like, you know, basically, like, what's the theme? And to me, the theme is like gathering shit together, like getting it, okay. And then I said, okay, cool. That's the theme for the day, and then I name it. What's the name of the day? I name my day. It's not like, okay, I'm on March 32nd. I'll just kind of meditate. I'll be like, Incopa. And so I write down, you know, like, okay, you know, here's the theme, which is kicking ass, or the purpose of the day, kicking ass, and the name of this day is Incopa. It's its own unique, separate, original day that I'm going to create with there, and it's really important, powerful to name the day because meditate on it because it's your own. That's where you're starting from. It's your creation every day.
Yeah, I mean that's important. We do a Forge, the Men's Forge, my group. We do a daily check-in before midnight, and basically the check-in is what was your success, what was your failure, what did you learn, and what's your plans for tomorrow. Which means that you at some point today had to meditate on tomorrow, and you at some point today had to plan your fucking day and had to plan what your outcome will be. Now, are you going to hit all that stuff? Hopefully, you better. But the reality, truth is, you know, life happens, things change, and you may not get to do all the shit you want to get done. You have to adapt, and so you adapt. I mean, being a man of your word doesn't.
Even if you accomplish 10% of your epic day that you planned out, that's still better than 99% of the jabronis out there who don't do shit.
Totally right. If you can plan on, thank you, man, appreciate it. If you can plan your day the next day and be intentional about it. I was gonna say being your word. Like for me, a man I respect is a man I make plans with, and he keeps his commitments. And if he has to break his commitment, he calls me the moment he knows he has to break his commitment, not 2 seconds or 2 minutes before we're supposed to do the fucking thing. But like, if we're meeting on Friday and he calls me on Wednesday and say, dude, I did not realize blah, 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 I can't do Friday. Can we reschedule? Yeah, fuck yeah, we can do that. I can respect you for fucking doing that. But if on Friday shows up and I haven't heard dick and it's an hour before and you're calling me going, hey, da, 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 you know, I'm in Switzerland right now and I should have called you from blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you fucking dick. What kind of man are you? You don't respect me enough to contact me to let me know when you know the plans are going to change? You know, don't respect my time? Fuck that shit.
And his actions tell you exactly where you are in the hierarchy of his life, which actually, I don't know if we noticed a little bit ago, there's a question from Muhammad. Do you hold those standards also to the women around you or just your guy friends?
Oh, yeah,
I hold those standards to everyone.
Yeah.
My family gets a little bit more wiggle room because they're blood, but only a little.
Nope.
For me, mine gets a little. My mom, she gets a little. She's old.
Dude,
I give her a little more wiggle room.
I get the little too because she's living with me.
Yeah.
But other than that, other than the little wiggle room, a couple family members, everyone else, why wouldn't I hold them? If I showed them that I'm not holding them to high standards, that's showing them that I'm a pussy. That I'm showing them that I have no backbone.
They can do this. They
inviting them to walk over me.
Oh, fuck that. Oh, man.
That's the biggest problem with men on one thing is they let women get away. And this is why a lot of women
they want
come
to get
back.
the pussy. They think, oh, if I let her get away with shit, she might let me in her legs.
But she ain't gonna give them the pussy because she don't respect it because it ain't being true. Like, I don't know how many women, they come around me because they need a reality check because there's so many fucking guys bullshitting and lying to them that they're like.
Did you see that video I posted on Facebook the other day of the like 5 black chicks, and they're like, we need a man. It's these real, and a couple of them are good looking, but a couple of girls are like, I need a guy who will tell me to shut up if I'm out of line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she put it up, and I didn't say anything.
I told my wife, listen, I've told my wife, I'm like, shut the fuck up. And like, this isn't abusive. It's just like, she's way like in her fucking emotion. It's just like simple, straight, shut the fuck up.
Calm down.
Calm the fuck down. Bring that shit down a level. And like I said, you got to bring it, this is some of the fire energy.
Yeah,
It's not like, well, we need to just sit down and hold hands and breathe together.
No.
Fuck that shit. It's like, fuck, you're fucking being a cunt. All right, and I don't say that word a lot. I'm just saying, I'm letting you know. Is that what you're saying?
Key and Peele, no, it's a joke. Key and Peele. But no, seriously though, like, and I'll do that with her so I don't know if you've seen the Key and Peele skit where the guys get together and they're talking to each other, guy to guy, and like, and I said, bitch, and the guy's like, you said that, right? You said bitch, and then they like go further and further away from the house, further and further away from the girls to tell their story so they can say the word bitch, and so Adrian and I have this joke, and it's like, bitch, whenever she's being when she's being out of control, because like there's a point in my temper, and people can do this, will trigger my temper. I need to remove myself, so I have a beater truck in my garage. It's my 4-wheel drive Toyota. It's a beater truck. I have baseball bats, and I beat my truck. And then really for real. And I come back inside, and they're like, all right, cool. But when she gets in that place, I used to say, you need a timeout. You got to fucking leave. You need to fucking excuse yourself because we do not talk this way to each other. We're not abusive with each other. And now we've reduced it to bitch. And she's like,
but how often do you get though? How often do you get a bitch check?
Not that often. I mean,
right?
What?
And how many times do we have to do that?
What will happen is
a lot more.
She'll be like, I can't do this. I can't do this because I'll get to where I'll get one track minded and I'll start looping. And she's like, I can't do this because you don't have your tools. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, right. Okay, fine. I'll calm down. Damn it. Okay, give me 15. I'll be back. And we have that in our relationship because she knows if I don't have my tools because I'm adrenalized and I'm one track, like, fucking dog with a bone. I'm all about having the bigger picture. I'm all about seeing all the angles. I mean, arguments boil down to someone not being heard. So with us, we use nonviolent communication, and it's about, I heard you say what I heard you say was what I heard you say was what I heard you say was, and at any point, what I heard you say was blah 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 blah, and she's like, no, that's not right. Okay, I'll shut up and listen. She'll say it again. So what I heard you say was blah 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 blah. Almost. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so what I heard you say was blah 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 blah. Yes, great, I understand you. And then it gives an opportunity for me to do the same back. And we're not trying to do, well, I did this and you did this. Fuck that shit. This is my experience. This is my understanding of the situation. This is where it went sideways. Oh, this is my experience. This is my understanding of how the situation went sideways. Oh, well, that's different than what I saw. Me too.
It's always one little small piece at the beginning that started it.
Right. Yep. But when we're coming from the place of you're not my enemy, because she's not, she's my partner.
Right.
And we're coming from the place of I love her and I care for her and I want her to have it all. And by the way, she loves me and cares for me and she wants me to have it all. When we operate from that place, arguments aren't yelling. Arguments aren't, Rah! Arguments are, let's understand the situation. Let's understand each other's perspective. But I hate hearing I don't have my tools. Just like she doesn't hate hearing.
Every man has a different way of doing it. To me, I get in my fucking Prius and I just drive. Not angry. I just go and I just walk away and I just walk away from it, do my thing. Yeah. Come back and there may be times like we just don't come back into the conversation. Like I've had conversations in 7 years or whatever, especially in the type of lifestyle that I live. You know, there can be a few little bumps along the road.
Yeah.
Those guys, how do you live a polysexual amorous relationship? I'm like,
good communication.
Very diligently,
yeah,
on your toes, like, you know, one of those things.
Yeah.
But every man has this different way of expressing that and coming back. Like I've gone a week. Like that's probably the longest I've gone, where I'm just not ready to talk. Like it's that level. I'm just I'm just not having it. I'm just like, nah. I'm sticking to my fucking game on this one. Like this is important to me. It's a vision that I have. And so
this is what I'm creating.
Either we're going to separate, okay, because I will not let go of this, or that's the way it is. And it can go that. Like one day, like, and this doesn't happen a lot, so I don't want to think it's like this fucking thing. It could get to that level, like it brings it down to a man. Like, am I going to change his world? Nope. Ain't gonna happen, okay? And so there's.
I like how you guys said that and looked at each other right after.
You adapt and you conform to a way that helps. You know, there is the. This is where I'm going. So I was telling this weekend. You know, he was wanting advice on relationships and wanting advice for creating a new core value of friends and a core group of friends. And I'm like, look, dude, you have to be clear on what's true for you and what you want to create. And what works for Adrian and me is we're going over here. The fun is over here. We're doing this, and we're not doing those things. And if you want to do those things, you can. We're not going to stop you, but we're going to go over here. And the house rule is no whining. You know, the house rule is no bitching and complaining for entertainment. You know, we're over here creating joy and laughter and mischief and amazing, sexy life. You can come with us. If you're not going to play this game, don't come over here. But come. We want you to come. And so by giving people the opportunity to self-omit and, to self-select, we've lost a lot of people along the way. But the people that have come along have been higher quality humans, higher quality players that want to have the same things we want, which is an amazing fucking life. It does take effort. It does take good communication skills, and it does take a huge desire to create the life you want for yourself and for somebody else.
Yeah,
that's the fun part. You know, it's not work. That's joy. I'm on a tangent. What were you guys talking about?
Okay, let's bring it back to Steven, because this is what we're here for. Like, I would love to learn some of the new techniques real quick. And like I said, I know this is us before we even get into what we teach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but it really is all the shit that we teach and live.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here listening. I'm sure when you guys watch this video later, anyone who's watching this after we've recorded it, pay attention to like my head nodding and I'm sitting here pointing and stuff.
All of us. Like
I fucking wish I had access to shit like this. I mean, how many of us had to figure this shit out on our own, or we were lucky to find 1 or 2 mentors?
Ridiculous.
So, yeah. So you guys are so fucking. I'm not bragging about us, but really I am. You guys are so fucking lucky to have fucking advice like this. Like John, when he's in Vegas and he's speaking, we're speaking at the same event in 2 weeks, 3 weeks at Successfulness. Eric's coming out. You're coming out for it again. Like when they're there, I make sure, and I think the last 2 times I've had things where something comes up and I'm away and I go up to John later. I'm like, damn it, I missed half of your talk. I caught some of it last year and I didn't catch it again this year. I've done that and I'm like, I want to catch the rest of it. And the last time I was dead tired. I knew I just needed to lay down. But I went in the other room. I could still hear his talk, and I was laying down listening to all of it. Didn't go to sleep. Listened to the thing, and I came out afterwards. And I don't know if you remember, but I was like, man, that thing you talked about, like a girl and her safe word and hitting like her breaking point. Fuck, I was like, that was a game changer. Why did I never think of that on my own? And you're like, man, I'm glad you got that. And so I'm taking notes when these guys are talking. I think I have a couple good tidbits of advice. But like I said, guys who are listening to this stuff later, damn, I wish imagine where we'd be if we would have had mentors like this when we first started off on our journey. So
we would be in the situation where, speaking of safe words, the best safe word in the world is in this book, meta whore. Every fucking man should read that if you want to be like.
I got the book on the shelf. I started it. I haven't finished it yet. But
you'll dig it. But
it's good, really fun stories too, man.
Yeah, great.
You're a good storyteller.
Thank you.
Yes.
Peter.
All right. Anyways, Eric, you said you wanted to talk about tactical stuff or something.
Yeah, please, give us a couple good things right now. And and I can see this right now because this is completely enjoyable to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
I looked at the clock. was like, we've been going for like 2 hours or something nonstop. Like it's nothing.
I'm telling you, the world needs like a serious like podcast like this. Like you got Joe Rogan, you got Tim Ferriss. It's all great and shit like this. You know, on our level, like 3 guys talking that are teachers. I'm enjoying this. So this one day someone might revert back to this. I can see us doing this easy because it's so easy. It's so fun to go back and forth. And there's so many guys that could utilize the knowledge that we've had, that we've paid our dues to get. You know?
We need to do one when we're in Vegas. The 3 of us or more. But actually, I think the last one never got released.
Last year.
I will have the video.
Oh, we got like 7 guys talking where I was so tired you were such an asshole. I kept on fucking falling asleep and shit. I'm like, during the fucking day.
I got the pictures. I think I still might have that picture too if he shows it off. He's like horrible.
San Diego, you know, and he showed me the worst photo I've ever seen in my life.
Totally
like this. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, please burn that one.
You kind of looked like what's the guy that would turn the thread into gold? Like
Rumpelstiltskin.
You kind of look like Rumpelstiltskin in the picture.
No, yeah. Sorry.
Anyways, gun stuff.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Like let's say it's like mindset security stuff. Like, you know, things that people can use like with what's going on like right now.
Okay, so some of the stuff we cover, like we do have an urban survival class coming up, and I'm not here to sales pitch it or anything because, like I sent Eric the sales page, which I did a whole edit on it later. It's 420, 421, 422, 423. That just was the weekend that worked out the best. But we're basically like the guy that did the wilderness survival class that we helped teach, or that I helped run last year. He also teaches urban survival, and he actually teaches like the primitive skills to like military special operations and law enforcement, all that. But we're basically doing a 2-day weapons class. I'm going to teach all the firearm stuff. Then we're going to do the urban survival. And on the last day, we're actually going to have a field training exercise where they have to go out, and we're going to have missions and all this stuff all around town. They have to get water. They have to go buy supplies. And we're maybe going to have role players. It's going to be fucking epic. But anyways, that's what we've done with our other classes, like the VIP bodyguard class we did. On the last day, we actually had women come out, and we went to a public place. And the guy that I used to work for, and it's on the sales page on my site, it's from a class 2 years ago, so I don't know if we'll ever do one again, but he was like in the CIA too, and he did personal protection. And so he was like, hey, dude, if something happens while we're out here, like we didn't clear this with the mall or anything. Like you guys are on your own. So we have these bodyguards here, and we have the girls, and we're doing high profile, low profile, or no profile protection. And we have like attackers and role players, and we had to get them to safety and stuff. And it's like once in a lifetime events for these kind of guys. So that's kind of what I've been evolving into, because even though my old website's bravopua.com, I haven't taught pickup in years since I left the old company. I've just taught man skills and man advice and social skills and confidence. And what we were talking about earlier about having all of us on the call, it's one thing to have guys who actually just understand this stuff and know this stuff. That's a huge, huge deal. That's like 10% of the world or something. But then to have guys who can actually effectively communicate it and teach it to others, now it's just in the super, super small percentage. So to be on this, it's pretty awesome to share it with you guys. Real quick, I think someone unmuted. Horrible. Okay, echo. But anyway, so a lot of the stuff going on in the world, the shooting just at the airport, all this terrorist shit. A lot of guys are asking about things. We talked about it at the beginning, realizing that you shouldn't outsource your personal protection. It's up to you to be able to protect yourself and your loved ones. So for me, I lived in LA for years. LA doesn't let you carry a firearm. So right there, that's a deal breaker to me. I would never live in a state that makes it illegal for me to be able to protect myself and my loved ones. The next skill would be like knife fighting, edge weapon systems, non-firearms, but non-ballistic, but other additional weapons. But then started to get into like less lethal, which is what we talked about earlier with the flashlight. One of the absolute best things anyone can carry with them on an airplane, in a courthouse. You can always have something with you. And you understand that these are all force multipliers, and their pros and cons and their limitations, and training with it. That's another thing. So many people just buy a gun and they don't train, or they just don't do anything. Just like someone buying your book or your podcast and not implementing any of the information or knowledge, that's not going to get them anywhere. So I tell people there's so many guys now that are coming back from overseas, from military and law enforcement, that have such epic level resumes that go out and train with them. And you can find some of these fucking awesome special forces, Navy SEAL guys that are doing classes that are super affordable. So it's really just a fun activity for me. It's something I enjoy. It's a way I can meet like-minded people but it's also usable skills instead of just a hobby like golf, which I'm not ragging on golf, but because there's benefits from doing it. But realistically, how much money does fucking someone pay on a one driver or a putter? Like, think about how much normal people who are into golf invest in golf clubs. So to me, it was always something like, I like having guns and tools and knives, but to me, it's not so much that the object, it's the knowledge and the value I get out of learning it. So that's what I recommend you guys check out the stuff. And also too, like, the other thing is, most people don't ever think about this, but like, I ride a motorcycle. So I always I started doing it when I was riding my motorcycle, but now I always carry a tourniquet with me. And if you guys were watching any of those videos at the airport shooting, well, the one that I posted, there's the old lady sitting there just crying and screaming, who's just out of it. There's the guy who's filming it as people are on the ground bleeding to death and dying. But everyone, people don't rise to the occasion under stress. They default to their lowest level of training. So someone was asking me, why do you think the guy was live streaming it? And I was like, well, he was either doing that because he wanted attention, which is putting it online. That's his lowest level of training, is reality. Or that's a way for him to disconnect from it because he doesn't know what to do. But regardless, idiots are going to be there. They don't know what to do. So then there's someone on the ground trying to administer first aid. Well, like in the Orlando club, gay nightclub shooting, they're in there for a while. So if you get shot and you're bleeding to death, like, the tourniquet's going to be the thing that keeps you alive until you can get to a hospital. I mean, either you're just going to die and there's nothing anyone can do, you're going to start bleeding out, and then you can tourniquet it down and maybe go get help, or it's just a superficial wound and you're just going to be fine no matter what. So me with the motorcycle, I was like, fuck, man, if I wipe out on this, especially up in Flagstaff in the mountains in the middle of nowhere, and I like wipe out and fuck up my arm or my leg or something, I need to be able to put a tourniquet on with one hand and be able to, like, if my phone gets broken, I might be laying there and crossing my fingers or my bones until someone drives by and helps me. So that's going to be the thing that keeps me alive. So after that shooting happened, I put up a post saying, oh, that's why you travel with a tourniquet and a trauma kit all the time, because that's stuff that's with me all the time. And realistically, am I going to have to shoot a bad guy or stab a bad guy with a knife or a gun someday? Maybe. But realistically, I'm more likely to have to use medical training to keep myself or other people, or a car accident or anything like that, safe that I come across. So thinking about what we were talking about earlier is just, you don't want to...
Let me break in, because we're talking like common sense ain't so common as far as this is knowledge. There may be people listening that don't even know what a tourniquet is. So just real
tourniquet.
quick.
I will grab one sitting right here.
Got to make sure they know what
you're talking about. Yeah,
they'll be like, I was looking for this tourniquet.
I've got two. I got one in the car.
So anyone who ever sees me out and about, sometimes they'll notice I have a little bag on me or a backpack or something. But basically, the stuff that I love right now is, and you can buy these on Amazon. They're about $20, and there's a lot of different versions of these. It's from Adventure Medical Kits.
Yeah. The trauma pack one's good.
Yeah, this one's good because it could just fit in a pocket. It's sealed. It's designed to fit like in a BDU pocket, a cargo pocket, or anything. But inside of this, there's a set of gloves, because if you're helping someone, I don't want to catch the hepatitis alphabet from working on them. There's quick clot. There's trauma pads, and there's stuff like that. So, and then it's all sealed in a bag. So this is just nice because it's so sealed. It's a little thick, but like one of these is in like in every bag I have. Tourniquets, which most people have seen in movies or anything, is just that strap. Like if you ever see someone like put a belt around their leg with a stick, like in a movie, it's just one of these nylon straps. And generally there's what's that?
You bought that off Amazon?
Yeah. Well, I'll show you. There's a new one. There's a newer version of a tourniquet that's out, and they're going to be sold on my martial arts website pretty soon. And it's a better version than this one. That's in my one,
right?
Yeah, this is the cat. There's a cat tourniquet.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Be careful buying these because you can buy generic ones online. It's really easy to fuck them up. But this is the newest version. And so you just throw it on, you Velcro it, cinch it down, and there's a windage knob, and you turn it, and that's what cinches it, which hurts when you put them on. But it's going to stop the bleeding and keep you alive. Yeah, and then there's a newer one I got.
You have to open it for blood flow every once in a while, or how?
No. And so when you're putting a tourniquet on someone, and this actually, I was going to get right into it with this one. This is actually one called a rat's tourniquet. And this one's getting popularity because it's real small and it's a bungee cord and stuff. And it's designed that you could just basically loop it around your arm. And all you have to do is feed the bungee cord through the loop once. And then you can wrap it around 3 times and lock it in place with one hand. Pretty easy. The problem with these that I'm hearing from guys, this is something I'm not an expert in at all. I've just done a little bit of training in it. But the problem with like the bungee cord ones, a lot of guys love these because they're so small. You can, wrap them up super tiny and throw them in your pocket. This one obviously takes up more room. It's thicker, it's bigger. But the bungee cord one is when you start unhooking it, it instantly relieves pressure. And with the one with the windage knob, you can actually turn it and slowly release pressure, because if there's a clot that's formed, you don't want to relieve pressure and boom, it's going to blow that clot right out, just like a hose. You like stuck it up with mud and you go full pressure, it's going to blow it out. But if you slowly ease up on it, you won't blow the clotting out. And also, if it starts bleeding a little bit, you can cinch it back down and okay, don't fuck with it. So any ones like these are going to be the better ones. There is a big convenience factor with these. I did hear a story too about a guy that had one on his arm and unhooked and snapped off and hit him and broke his orbital. So that sucks. But if it's that or dying, the hard part though is keeping this stuff in the car because it's hot, keeping it with you. So the new one that we have, which I could go grab my other bag. I don't want to walk away from it right now, but it's just a different design of that one. And there's going to be a new version of it. What's that?
You can. I have a quick story if you want. It's all off subject, so if you want to do it, cool.
Go for it.
So, okay, that he's talking tourniquet. I'm going to talk about being prepared for certain things. One of the things I do, because I'm coming more from a little bit of herbology background and things like this, is one of the things that I like to carry, and I'm actually trying to figure out ways on how to do this a lot easier for men or people, is a little couple capsules of cayenne pepper, super hot cayenne pepper. If anyone has a heart attack and you put that in their mouth, okay, and you open them up, you put them in, you have them swallow it, it basically will get that blood flowing for the most part. It's one of the most important things that you can do to save someone's life from having a heart attack, just to throw out there.
Yeah, cayenne peppers are really,
absolutely. So,
and it's great for clotting.
Yeah, good.
So actually, that's what they used to use for first aid for clotting. So just like I'll have this bag with me in Vegas, but it's just a normal looking backpack, no big deal. I like it because there's lots of pockets and stuff in here, but it's actually a 511 bag. And the reason I like this one so much is because the back side of it, it's designed, it opens up and you can put like a Camelback or a water bladder in there. There's a company that makes these special ballistic panels that go in there.
Oh, nice.
And so all the guys that were my VIP and urban survival class, they're all going to see these. And we actually did a live shoot of these out on the range. Now, these are good for handgun rounds, but they're not good for rifle or anything. You could buy those also. But this thing is literally thinner than a yellow notebook pad and about the weight of one. So you can throw it in here. You just forget you have it. And then if there's like an active shooter or something, as you're running away, your back's protected. Now, if you want to engage, whip it around, put it in front of you, and now you have a chest protector. So anyone who wants to know more about that, like I said, I don't make a penny on selling this stuff. I just know where to get it, and it's all cool shit. So if guys want that, I can get them hooked up with it. But like in here also, there's hidden pockets. I have a firearm in there and some stuff. But two of the things I always travel with now, especially when I'm going to an airport or anything, is this is the newer tourniquet I was talking about. And this one's nice because look how tiny it is. I mean, you can throw it in your back pocket if you have it. The other ones, you're not really supposed to use it more than once. This one you can use all the time. And it's super simple because there's two buckles, two little rings on it, and just a little windage knot. So I use you wrap it around yourself.
Clever.
You hook it, twist it, lock it in place. It's the simplest one I've seen to use. It's the smallest one. It's one that you can actually use over and over and over again. And it's just a little.
Yeah, because it's nylon webbing.
Yep,
that's
exactly.
Super smart. Fuck.
And they're like $20.
Yeah.
So you can buy a couple. Like we had them at my last martial art instructors weekend. They had them there, so I just picked up two, and everyone I was there with, everyone bought two, and they were sold out like that. So I think they're actually doing a little design change. It's a modification on them. And I know the guys who are making them, design them and stuff. So once this is up, I'll just be linking to it on my Facebook page. I'll put about it on my blog. But right now, rat or cat, those are great. Something's better than nothing. But yeah, like I said, this guy, I mean, look how tiny that is.
That's bitching.
And yeah, you can use it all the time. So the other thing too that a lot of people don't think about is like with me, whenever I'm traveling, these are actually called hand cops. And some people who are into knot tying might know about those. Let me see if I can get that. I forget the name of this knot here. It's
Can't tell what that is. It looks like a slip knot of some kind. I can't see what it is though.
Yeah, it's a specific name. I forget, but it goes through itself twice and then back through itself. I'll look it up. I forget what it was, but I posted before, and some S&M guy instantly was like, "Oh, that's that knot." But it's designed so you can actually handcuff someone. Obviously, I do it tighter. And just right here, it's hard for people to get out. If you know how to just which way to move your hands, you can get it out. But what happens is you throw it on someone, cinch it down, and then just tie the end in a knot. And now you got basically a set of handcuffs. So how many times have you guys seen stuff on like the airplane where people's flying and they're having a freak out and they try to pin someone down or tie them down? And then like even the story that just happened, I think Richard Marx was like helping subdue the guy, and Gabrielle Reese was like filming it, and they had to fucking deal with it. Well, they tie the guy, they don't know how to tie knots or anything, and they can't secure the guy, and he gets out and they have to deal with him for 5 hours. Whereas if you just have something like this, and I have this in my bag all the time, and if I'm wearing cargo pants, it's always in my cargo left pocket. I always have a flashlight, a tourniquet, a firearm, a knife, my wallet, my phone, always on me. But if something bad happens, you deal with a crazy guy, I might have to subdue him, and I don't want him to hurt himself or hurt other people. So having something that's this tiny, little bit of 550 cord, you can buy it online for $20. I just made my own. Anyone who ties knots can do it. I mean, it gets that big. Yeah. So these are just a couple little things that you can carry with you all the time. And like I said, I'm on an airplane. Someone's in a movie theater. They start acting crazy. That's going to be probably more realistically things I'm going to be involved in than having to use my AR-15 with my suppressor on it and take out a bad guy. So just skills. And like I said, it's just kind of, I don't want to specialize in one area. Like I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I don't want to just grapple. I also want to do knives. And I want to just do knives. I also want to focus on sticks, improvised weapons, firearms, medical training. And I want to expand myself. And to me, these are all pieces of being a complete man, which then help me, just like diet, nutrition, fitness, wilderness survival, knowing how to survive out. I mean, how many guys nowadays don't even know how to fucking change a tire?
Right.
Let alone just all of a sudden goes to shit. So these are all little skills where I was like, what's stuff I want to learn? What's something I don't know? Or I hear something from a guy that I look up to and I'm like, oh, that's something I should learn too. Mental note. And really, I mean, we just started the year off. So what I was talking about when you were resetting your call, Eric, was actually making goals and making yourself, I don't like New Year's resolutions and all that stuff. To me, I just go, okay, what are the things I'm going to focus on this year? What's the timeline I'm going to do it on? Like the first quarter of the year, I'm going to do this. Next quarter of the year, I'm going to do this. Okay, you know what? Now summertime comes. Okay, there's a gun class I want to go do. And I just kind of map it out. And then if you can't hold yourself accountable to you, like your word's worthless. Your word's meaningless. If it's not, it means nothing to you. So to me, each year I just focus on a new topic.
Well, there's another part that's I think important here is like you can go in different areas as well. It doesn't all have to be in, like some guys, physical stuff. But there's like different layers. Like you can spend maybe 3 months getting the basics down in something, so you have a certain knowledge of it. Yeah. So it's not something like if you're in jiu-jitsu, you can learn a few things. You got a good base from it. If you want to go longer, then you become, like master and grandmaster and all these things. So going into like, even like I said, your wilderness thing, just doing that and knowing shit, it's like putting that in your head. What did it take? 4 days? Nothing. Okay, well, say maybe that wasn't your thing. But now you have that. I mean, even down to like, I'm big into language and my tongue fu as far as that goes, as far as, getting people out of situations, helping people, whatever it is. So it's like, I've studied that. Now, most people don't spend 23 years studying hypnosis, neurosemantics, engineering. Okay, but if I'm teaching something like mind lines or sleight of mouth patterns as far as like language, okay, you can learn some basic skills. And you're like, okay, cool, I got some basics. So it's not like, with guys that are listening to this, it's not like that's your whole life, okay? Right. It's like, okay, cool. I would like to learn a little bit about preparations or trauma stuff. Okay, spend a couple weeks. You'll know enough basics. Spend a couple weeks here. Spend a couple weeks here. Get in here. Get rolling around a little bit.
Get your CBR card. Something simple.
Yeah, we've had, all of us have different areas of life that we've specialized in. It becomes an obsession or a passion, and we really get into it. And for us, it's also not just one. Like we're not a one-trick pony. We have multiple assets. But a lot of guys, like you said, listen to this. Like I'm not telling anyone to go out there and become like an expert marksman. Like I was even used once. Like they had a court case where the guy, quick side funny story, a guy apparently had pointed a starter pistol at his ex or wife's head when they were having sex. They're really into some kinky shit, and so she was totally cool with it. And then I guess a week later they got into a fight, And then she called the cops and then told the cop, oh, he pointed a starter pistol at me. Now he was a dummy and he talked to the police without a lawyer. He's like, well, yeah, but it was consensual and we were having sex, and boom. So now he's arrested for assault with a deadly weapon or whatever it was. And so they worked.
Women lie? Women lie sometimes?
Yeah. And then a week later, they worked it out. So now she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I did that. So anyways, the lawyers and stuff had to come to the gun range, and they're like, all right, we need a firearms expert who can explain, like, with the law, why a starter pistol isn't a real gun. And I'm the most qualified guy, all these certifications, all these classes and stuff I've taught. And I was like, all right, so I had to write this whole letter, and I got paid all this money by the fucking lawyer to get this guy off as a firearms expert to explain why he pointed the starter pistol.
Story. Very well.
So, but a lot of guys don't want to like, I worked at a gun range for years. That's how I got into this stuff. And so that, to me, is like one of the best ways to learn anything, is to make it your job. But you don't have to do that. You guys offer programs on this stuff. Someone could come and take one of your guys' programs, a week-long course, a 6-month course, anything and everything in between, and they're going to get fucking awesome information, things that's going to be game changers in their life. And obviously, if they wanted to specialize in it and learn it and take the road we've done with this stuff, they can. But like you said, like guys did my 4-day wilderness class. Well, in the class, guys made fucking fire by rubbing sticks together. Guys learned how to make fire with spark rods, and they learned all the stuff, and then they got all the tools and the skills to go home and practice it. So if they did that, not only do they have skills that someday might save their life, but now they got a great story because they go out on adventures and do man shit. They got great topics to talk about. We got pictures. So now they have cool, we call them DHV pictures, demonstrating higher value pictures, on their online dating profile or stuff. A lot of guys are sitting in front of their pickup truck or their Mustang trying to look cool. That's not a cool picture. That doesn't DHV you. But you going out and taking, like me hiking a glacier in Alaska, me going to Japan, and me studying martial arts, and me teaching edge weapon class. These are all fucking cool shit that I do. And then my pictures convey that. So it's an interesting way it all comes around and connects. But again, if you're walking the walk, this is just who I am. It just comes out automatically. But for guys who aren't there yet, you got to start small chunking it. And like I said, you don't need to be a gun guy like me. You can. I've been doing it since 1999.
Yeah.
But you can focus on it, learn some skills, and move on to the next thing. And to me, that's what I like doing. So like the medical training, exactly what you said. I'm going to go out, take a couple classes, do a wilderness medical class, and then also one that has to deal more with firearm injuries and like trauma from gunshot wounds and stuff. And then maybe do some training to upkeep it, but check mark that off my list and move on to the next thing, So that's what I like doing.
And we went through this 2 hours, like we're already over, and we didn't even get to 1% of what we know.
Yeah, you know, right.
but either way, it was fascinating on lots of different levels as far as that goes. So there you go. I mean, yeah, we're probably way over the attention span of most people for the most part. But
well, I enjoyed it.
No, I enjoyed it too, man. Yeah. I could do this. We can do a podcast like this easy.
We could go all day.
Yeah, all day long and some. So, guys, let me just throw it out there. I mean, do you have a couple more minutes, Steven?
Yeah. We work the urban survival class, and I have a sick cat, and those are the two things I'm dealing with today. So other than that, I'm all yours.
All right. So real quick, guys, like we're going to keep this to a few questions here from the Ultimate Man program. Just this real quick. So if you guys have any quick questions, now's the time to ask. You got one of the best people that I know, and I know the best of the best, to ask a question to about something. So if you have a question right now, please ask it, because if you don't see a question come in, I'm going to basically just cut it, and that's going to be a wrap for this session.
And if you guys are asking a question, a lot of times other people are thinking it, and other people who are going to watch this later might go, shit, I wish someone asked him this. So don't be shy. Like, we're here. I'm happy to help.
Good. There you go.
Here we go. Where should I start my training first?
Start.
Okay, so I don't know how old you are. I don't know where you live, so I'll just give the generic answer. But obviously, like, some guys are in the UK and stuff, and that obviously is going to change it because you don't really have anything with firearms. What I recommend is you got to do some form of martial arts. I'm a big fan of grappling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but a lot of guys maybe don't have that around them, or it's not their cup of tea. But ultimately, what guys need to learn how to do is you need to learn how to throw a punch. You need to learn how to do some grappling. You need to learn how to use some weapons, knives, guns. More people have died throughout history from edged weapons than from ballistic weapons.
Yeah.
And you need to learn that. And then medical training. And then also, too, then to me, it just starts other things like literally when I was with the old company, we had a little Ask the Alpha Male section in our monthly magazine, and it kind of snowballed into shit just like how to jumpstart a battery, how to grill a steak, how to change a tire. Like, these are fucking things that guys don't need. So for me, it was just little things in my head. Like I love going out to eat. I love great, amazing food. However, it's also one of the biggest money resource hogs there is, fucking blowing money on food. So for me to justify spending all this money on food, they need to make food better than I can make it. And it needs to be like a more fun experience or something different than I can get, like sushi or something, which is how I first met John all those years ago when you were in the wheelchair, when you broke your leg that time.
Yeah.
Remember we were drinking that sake, hanging out, and you came by? He's in a wheelchair. I was like, I don't know who this guy is. He's cool. And then Taz's like, oh, no, he's a good guy. And I was like, I thought he rolled up. I didn't even know he's involved with this stuff. I thought he's just a cool dude. Which is interesting that energy was being projected from a wheelchair. Yeah. In a restaurant. And I was like, he's a cool dude. And I didn't know who he was. But anyways, so that's just kind of like things across the board. And I know Eric's not eating steaks or anything, but to me, good steaks are one of my favorite things in the world. So I mastered how to fucking make it. I mastered how to make like baked potatoes. And I don't use white, normal potatoes. I use white baked sweet potatoes. And then like I've had friends come over who we bust our balls all the time, and they'll never ever admit anything I did was ever good because we always just bust each other's balls. And two of the guys were eating the steaks, and one of the guys was like, "Yeah, this is it pains me to say it, but this is the best steak I've ever had in my life." And then the other guy who raises cattle and stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, and this is the best baked potato I've ever had in my life," like a farmer guy. So to me, like that's how I know I'm doing my good shit is because I got it dialed in. And after I do that, I'll move on to the next thing. What were you saying, Eric?
It can't go wrong with me. Like, I mean, I'm obviously, vegan as far as that goes. And so me is about the food preparation. And because I teach guys about dating, sex, and, men's lifestyle, like when I have a conversation with a woman around, raw food or, cooking stuff or growing my own food or, making an herbology tincture, don't think that there wasn't a little bit of, swaying like, thinking about this, like there's a lot of women, like in Whole Foods yesterday, some girl's looking at whey protein and she got it and she's walking away. I go, excuse me, come here, good looking woman. And I said, do you know the story about whey? And I said, here's the quick story about whey. Basically, it was a hazardous material back in the day. These companies, it's a waste product of milk. I said, these companies had to pay millions of dollars to, hazardous
dispose of it.
And they basically came up and said, hey, this is a milk protein. It's basically a protein. So they went from having to spend millions of dollars, it's toxic on the kidneys and all this, millions of dollars of disposing it to making billions of dollars selling it as a protein. And she's like, nah. And I go, absolutely. And she's like, what's your name? Like this. And that's how it starts. So being prepared for these kind of things, like, whether it's making a steak, there's lots of meat eaters out there for women. And there's lots of meat, whatever. You make it work for you because it's just adding another tool.
Skill, a tool belt, man.
Absolutely.
It's knowledge, it's passion, it's being able to convey that. But then also, too, let me take a jump. You probably could also talk about to the girl how you grow your own stuff and you make your own smoothies. And she's got to come over and try one of them because they're the best ones ever. And so guys are all thinking about, oh, it's so hard to get a girl back to your place. And I'm like, no, if you got cool shit. The quote that we're using right now on my site and my blog is, I'm dope and I do dope shit, which comes from a great interview with Dave Chappelle. I linked to it on my website. It's real funny. First time he met Kanye West, how he knew he was going to be famous. It's a great little funny story. But you're dope and you do dope shit. So in Eric's world, that's dope shit. And when he's talking to girls, he's able to convey that in a dope way that even if they weren't into that 2 minutes ago, he can convey it in such a cool, interesting, passionate way that they pick up on it. They bite the fish hook. And then he can reel them in real easy. So it's the same thing I do with guns and knives and martial arts. And I mean, it's almost too powerful. I almost feel like I'm cheating because, like, if I start talking to a girl about martial arts and about rape safe classes, which I help teach, like it's on. So it's actually, and then I feel a little creepy. So I actually don't do some of this stuff because it's too easy to get girls.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
I'm sure lots of guys listening. Well, no, it is. Anytime, like, listen, I've been trained massage therapist. I can do everything as far as that goes. So when you
Renaissance man.
Yeah, I can write poetry. I mean, I can go 45 minutes off my head with spoken word. Like I can write poetry. I got like 20 songs on SoundCloud, which is Hypnotica 144. If you're out there, if you want to listen it's just being a Renaissance. You know what it is? It's raising it's you wanting to exist in amazing reality, which is your own. And you raising your own bar because you're not like, who's going to teach me? There will be teachers.
There will be teachers.
There will be teachers.
But the thing is, so the complaint we had last night, we were discussing this thing. It's like, most of the girlfriends I've had, I've taught how to cook. I've taught how to properly clean.
Well,
I've taught them how to sew because I know how to fucking sew. I've taught them how to do their own fucking hair and makeup because, a lot of girls didn't fucking have that shit growing up. And I'm like, oh, look, I'm an artist. I like painting. I like color. I've got a good eye for color. So it's like, telling them, don't this with that and that with this and paying attention to fashions. Like I've gotten really good at specific things that I'm passionate about because I dove in feet first, because if you don't learn how to do it and do it for yourself, no one is going to,
Or even have conversation. Like right now, I'll say this. Like here's something that most guys don't know. We're in the age of Aquarius. What is the symbol for the Aquarius? It's a man with water pouring it in. That's not normally what men do. Okay, that's like a woman's job, like in that part of the world. So what is the whole symbology going on? It's a masculine man, being feminine, which what we're talking about right now, sewing, doing stuff. We're in the age of Aquarius, okay?
Yeah, roles.
Like, just like, also, like, how could that go into a conversation? Girls like, oh, about, well, what are you? Okay, well, I'm a Virgo, I'm a Leo, I'm a whatever. It's knowledge to get into a conversation, to move it to the place where she's like, whoa, where that switch turns in her head, and she's like, I would like to get to know this man.
Yeah,
like,
you're different. But let me jump back for a second, because I got to summarize what you guys said. So there's a line that gets thrown around, especially a lot in the PUA world, of leave her better than you found her.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because all the guys I heard say that.
Where'd that come from? Where'd that come from?
Did that come from you?
Fucking A.
Oh, I learned something on this. I did not know.
On Facebook, I got this quote, and it was like, he who controls a relationship, leads it, or rules it for the most part. He who cares less in a relationship controls it, basically. Like, you can walk away. And I was like, where'd that come from?
Well, all these guys who said, I've heard it from, it's interesting because I heard it from multiple other sources and they never gave credit. But I heard it from all these other guys who don't fucking have any clue on how to do that.
Yeah.
And then us, like, there's a reason ex-girlfriends reach out to me for advice or talk to me. Or message me.
Man.
I even had one of mine watch my last Facebook live stream about actually going back to one of the questions before about having standards and cutting people out of your life and all that. Like, I have 2 Facebook live stream videos that are just free that are up there, and I talk about this in one of them. And I had an ex-girlfriend who actually was like, that was amazing. And I almost sent it to my sister because she needs it for something. And I was like, if you would have told me years ago that an ex-girlfriend would be like, hey, your advice is really, like, I didn't talk to my ex-girlfriends years ago. There was always betrayal or hurt feelings or cheating, or there was some reason that we were like, fuck you, and then I bailed out. Now I'm friends, social, talk to all of them, and there's no bad blood because we're all adults, and hey, it wasn't right. But there was no.
I have an attitude, and this is what I teach my guys. It's like, look, if you love this woman or ever loved this woman, and you're not the guy for her, love her enough to let her go and find the guy that's going to do the shit that she wants, and maybe even help her find that motherfucker.
I've done that.
Yep. And love her enough, and then the breakup. The betrayal. What betrayal? I'm being honest with the fact that we aren't compatible for what you want to have. So let me help you go find what you have, and I'm gonna actually love you and care for you enough. And what's amazing about that experience is they are so appreciative. They talk you up to everybody. It's
and you got to be all the, like, get away. Like, just this week, like literally this week, like I'm at 5,000 friends on Facebook. Like, I had 2 girls that I've been friends with that all I've done is be their fucking strength. Okay. But the ratio, and I think there should be a what you give back to receive ratio. Yeah. Like, it was like I was always just pulling them out of shit doing this, and there was no return investment at all. And I basically just said like this. I just said, hey, actually, I didn't even say anything. I just basically defriended them. And these are people that I'm very, very close with, because it's my message, like, to say, like, you know what, you're not doing your part. And not that there's a part to be said, but don't be afraid, man. If you're out there, like, just because she's hot or what, okay, I don't want to get caught. Just because she has mathematical proportions that affect you in biological ways, all right?
Don't be stupid.
Yeah, don't put up with it. Just cut them out of your life, okay? Yep. And I know they're going to be like, that was stupid. I just lost, like, a very powerful helping man just deleted me.
Yeah.
Holy shit, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Question.
Oh,
Real quick, I was gonna
Right.
say the questions. There was one before, but there's two. But one guy goes, "Where should I start my training first?" I'm 19, from Hawaii, but now in Oregon. So I was kind of saying this. We again went off on a tangent, but every guy needs to learn how to grapple. Every guy needs to learn how to strike. Every guy should learn weapons, first aid. That's just, to me, that's just man skills. Learn how to cook. I haven't learned how to sew, but I do have patches, so I actually should learn that skill. I got to put on my gi. But these are all things like, and then also too, stuff that you're just into. See, I'm the type of guy where it's not an ego thing or anything, but I just hate asking for help. Like, especially if it's a thing where I should fucking know better. So to me, instead of asking someone like, "Hey, how should I sew?" Like John, "Hey, we're in Vegas, teach me how to sew." I'm going to fucking take some initiative and watch some YouTube videos, learn how to do it on my own, try it, play with it. And then if I have some experience under my belt, now when I ask them a question and like 2 weeks from now, and I'm like, "Hey, I was trying it, but what are your thoughts on this?" Now the question's a lot more powerful and valuable because I actually have some information already. Whereas if I'm just like, "So what should I do to sew?" And he's like, "All right, we could talk about that for 10 hours. But if I tried and took some initiative, so that's to me like learning how to cook the perfect steak. Like I went and got all these YouTube videos. I researched charcoal, cast iron skillet. I went and fucking did all this stuff. Then I started playing and trying with it. I experimented it. It became fun with me and my friends and my ex-girlfriend, where we're trying different ways. Do we like marinades? Do we not? And I dialed it in, and that became like a fun experience. And now I have that knowledge. It's the same thing I did with shooting a gun, trying all these different types of guns. Now I have my gun. I know exactly what I like. I have that knowledge and that skill set, and I'm going to have it for the rest of my life. So that's also enjoying the journey and not just wanting to reach the top of the mountain and wanting to hit the destination, but understanding and appreciating those journeys. And I love those moments. So that's another reason why I don't ask for help, because then I won't get to experience that learning process. So if you're 19, you can't really shoot a gun yet, go do jiu-jitsu, go do martial arts. A lot of times too, guys ask me, "Well, there's a jiu-jitsu place like 2 hours away." So then you start getting in trouble with that. So I say, find the places close to you. Yep. Go check them out. Every martial art has pros and cons, but go check them out, because most of the time it's the instructor in the school that's going to have the biggest impact, not just the art. So check out what's nearby, train it. And if you like I did jiu-jitsu for a while, got okay at some grappling stuff, and then started doing other styles. And now I'm back at jiu-jitsu. So you can also grow and cross-train. But a lot of guys try to do that too soon, do like a month here, or 5 classes at once. Like my place does jiu-jitsu, judo, self-defense, and kickboxing. And then I'm probably going to start teaching the knife fighting stuff there. But like trying to do all 4 of those each week, that's going to be too much. So just pick one thing, focus on it, get good, focus on another. Answer that question.
We'll finish up with this thing real quick. One of the guys like, will we talk about, this is for the Ultimate Man, the Hypnotica program. Will we talk about time management in the future calls? So many great, we're going to talk about time management, but I'm going to make sure that I get the best. All right, or one of the best that can talk about it. Me personally, I'm okay at it, average, okay? But there are going to be people that I want to bring in on that. So when we do talk about it, we're going to have a conversation like this where it's going to be massive learning. And I might as well finish off with the last question. Really, one guy said, a lot of girls are giving me a hard time for going vegan. And hey, you know what? Vegans can actually give a woman a lot harder time because they are vegan, all right? Just saying one of those things, okay? Your energy is going to be up in all levels. There are some supplements you have to take as far as this goes. You're going to have to take, vitamin B12, but everyone is deficient of that, all right? And so there's some things you got to do, and some of the other classes we've talked about it. But here's the bottom line, in my opinion, like I said, this is my opinion, and like you said, I'm completely sucked up and tiny. I'm the epitome of the old vegan hippie, and the point is this, this is your life, okay? Vegan, like my reasons are for the most part, I'm looking at the environment, and I don't mean like global warming. I mean our rainforests and stuff like that. That bothers me. The water situation, that bothers me. The agricultural slaughterhouses, that bothers me. How plants and animals are doing that. And like I said, I understand nutrition, and you can get everything you need from nutrition. So you let a woman know. You say, well, what's important to you? Is this important to you? Is this important to you? Is this important to you? We say, veganism does this, veganism does this. The point where women get shit on is because a lot of people, you know, they're so masculine, they're afraid, you know, they don't want other people to change, or they're so stuck in their own ways of what they think masculine is. And a lot of people put like, I'm vegan. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people push this and a lot of people get shit for it because of the fact that they're excited about something that makes them feel good. So when you're excited about something, you usually want to talk about it. That's the reason why a lot of these people are like, oh, I'm vegan. It's new. It makes you feel good. And there's ways around it. So, you know, as long as you get into that and you just say, hey, like, if you ate something that made you feel better, would you do it? Yes. Okay, so I'm doing something that makes me feel good. Is that important? Yes. Okay, so any girl that gives you shit, just go, man, you know, you always have a response to people with questions, because once you have the knowledge and you're able to ask them questions, you can turn everything around so that it makes it work so they understand it. So that's the only thing I want to say about that. You know, if you eat meat, fine. Okay, whatever. That's your own prerogative. Okay, my choice, and just as your choice is, you want to go vegan, you want to go vegan. There's a lot of experimenting to find out what the right pattern is to it to work, all right, for you. And you have to exercise on it. There is you have to exercise. If you don't exercise, you're going to be one of those skinny, sucked
anemic.
Let me add in because there's the food thing with the vegan thing. If you just remove the word vegan and put in like guns or something too, it's the same question, how you answer it and how you deal with those people. I usually just don't fucking deal with them. But what Eric just did, and I was going to actually bring this up at the end and just say, hey, there's two things. I'm just going to bring up one of them because we're so over on time. But when I was at your seminar and later just hearing you talk, like there was two giant things I teach to my guys and I give credit. And I'm like, this came from Hypnotica. This was a game changer. But what you just did right there was, does this make you feel good? Yes. And do you like doing things? And framing things. I don't know if you remember this, but at one of the seminars you're talking about how with your like an ex-girlfriend, and you were talking about how you should have ended things a lot earlier with her, but she was so good at rubbing your feet and keeping your belly full of food. I see you smiling. Okay. Yeah. So after you did it, I don't even think you're just doing your thing and you're just teaching, and that's just your reality. But after you did it, I came up and I was like, damn it, that's fucking awesome. And you're like, what were you saying? And I was like, when I talk to girls, like I'll tell stories about how this girl did something that was a deal breaker, and I don't put up with that, and that's done, and she's out. And this girl did something different. And I go, and you did it in the exact opposite way. You framed it as all positives and basically what the girl can do to stick around in the ways to your heart. Whereas I was giving her negatives and telling her, don't do this, don't do this. And so what he was even just doing, like back to me going to my default setting, they're not into guns, fuck them. But he's like, no, let's turn it into a positive. So do you remember that conversation and that story? If you can explain it, because that was a game changer for me when I heard it.
The story is this, okay? Like, I guess the theory is, if a woman's talking, like so many women are, and this really is for more women, but I hitched it up and was like, okay, a lot of girls are telling stories to guys like, oh, my last boyfriend, he cheated on me, he fucking beat me, he, didn't respect me, blah, 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 blah. So I'm sitting and listening. So unconsciously, she's registering in her mind, this is what she's used to. This is what she put up with. And so I tell the girls, I go, you don't talk about that. If you talk about that shit, you're fucked, okay? Because you're telling them where to go. You don't even let them know. The past is the past. You're like, so he's like, what happened to your last relationship? Guy, we break up for, everyone has certain reasons and stuff like this. But I'll tell you why I stayed with the guy for so long. Because you know what? He was on time. He always called me on time. Now I switched it around and said, I'll tell you the reason why I stuck with her so long is because she made, every time I got home from work, there was a wonderful salad. When I got home, when I was tired, she would like rub my shoulders or my feet and just put me to sleep. These are the reasons why we stuck around so long. I don't even talk about the past. And so in her mind, she's like, fuck, this guy's fucking levels up here. If I'm going to play in this guy's level of reality, then this is where I have to do it. I'm not giving her the unconscious, what I put up with in the past. And it's extremely powerful. It's one of those things, but it's just, something you can.
It's such an example of being a positive person, because even, like I said, even still to me, like I still have those feelings and I'm like, nope, she did this and pissed me off. And that's it. But you ooze it, and that's your reality so much that even in that example, it's a positive instead of a negative. And I remember just hearing it. I mean, it's great for a reframe. It's great for a teaching point and all that. But just to walking the walk, to be an example of just being positive.
Oh, here, I'm going to change something on you.
And I was like, man.
You've done it twice. Okay. So this is the thing that I tell people. Like, this is how involved I am in conversation. So what you said is, you're like, oh, it's such a great thing, but there's this. Now, but in the English language negates that which goes before it. So basically what I say, and this goes into sales too. So a girl was like, oh, I was just trying to do the best I can, but. So she basically just said, she negated her own trying to do good. but he was an asshole. And I said, no, stop. I want you to change it. Just add in the word and. So I was trying to do this. It would do good. And I found that he was doing this too, because you don't want your unconscious mind getting that like negation on that. And you can utilize, like just utilizing that in sales. So in one way, this is pretty cool. So a person says, oh, well, I really want it, but I can't have it. So if I'm going to mirror that, okay, and use the word but, I'd say, where would I want them thinking? At the end phrase, I want them thinking they really want it. Okay, so if I'm talking to them and they're all like, well, I really like it, but I can't afford it. You say, but, so, what I'd say is, okay, so you can't afford it, but negating that, you really want it. So even something simple like that in language,
reversing the positive,
but using their but in between to negate that they don't have the money, but you really want it. Now, when I end on you really want it, it opens them up for conversation. Compared to if I said, so you really want it, but you don't have the money. So where's the focus?
You end on a negative, that's the focus.
Yeah.
And so, I even did that when I was saying it. I was negating. I go, it's cool and all that, but so I was even negating that subconsciously because I was like, it's cool, but there's a lot more to it than that too, because I was so excited. So it's so awesome you just pointed out. I've heard that, and I did it too.
The thing I was thinking about, because you guys were both talking about this and reading his post here, why is it important what she thinks about you being a vegan? Why is it of value to you?
No.
Why
a woman's opinion that you don't know, that holds no value in your life yet.
Why does that fucking matter? It's like, oh, you don't like, you just met me, you're getting to know me, and you're judging me. That's not a good start for our friendship.
And you're even being swayed a little bit by her opinions.
Yeah, no, dude.
You gotta check yourself on that.
Stand in your power, stand in your choices, and like, this is what I do. You don't like it, you don't gotta play, but I'm doing this. And this
or you could fire back with refrags. You go, oh, you're being a vegan. I go, yeah, I prefer the prettier, healthier women.
Well, let me ask you both this question then. Like, just give a round number, like ballpark number, and how many people opinions, Eric and John, how many people's opinions in the world do you actually value? Ballpark.
I'd say my parents and maybe under 10.
I've built a community.
No, I'd say 15 with I'm like including my circle of like intimate, like, but with like people like you guys, I'd say maximum is 20. Maximum is 20.
Okay.
I've built a community of people around me that I respect a lot for different aspects of my life. Like, these people are the experts in these areas, so I value their opinion on those topics, but not for the rest of me. There's probably 30 on the outside that are as well-rounded as me on the different areas of how I like my life, that I respect their opinion. But
add the other people in there too. How many people total do you think? 50, 80?
A couple hundred.
Okay. So that's real interesting because to me, I would. What's that?
I've worked really hard at this.
He's like the center of the own community. So
I build
a big community, and I'm a lone wolf. I'm a fucking. There's not a lot of people I like at all. So normally I would have said almost single digits, but with my martial arts training and the new guys I'm training with now, there's actually a lot more guys I'm meeting. There's a whole new tribe, a whole new circle. So I'm still going to say double digits for guys. Their opinion I respect, or people I respect.
Like that.
I was like that for fucking decades, man.
But going off of what he said, now it's some random girl or some chick that you just meet. She's like, "Oh, you're vegan," and you're going to allow this person you don't even know to have like an opinion that holds value in your reality.
This is the thing. Like, do you change from place to place to place? Do you sit in the empty chair? And when I would describe this NLP thing, the empty chair is the vision that people have of you. So when you go home and visit your family you haven't seen in so long, or you go visit old friends you haven't seen in forever, they put out the empty chair of who they think you are. And that is that teenage or that 20-something or that old version of you. And they expect you to conform, and you'll find yourself talking and acting in ways you haven't talked in a long time. That's because you're sitting in their empty chair. Why the fuck are you doing that? Update their data, update everyone's information. Yeah. I'm not that person anymore. I am this.
And updating, go ahead. Sorry.
I am this. Like, my family, I'm no different in front of my mom or my adopted mom or my brothers or, my cousins in Texas, or I don't hide who I am or what I do or how I live. Now, the way I live it's not an easy road to hoe. And I'm here to tell you, you will lose people, you will lose family and friends by standing strong. But I'm unapologetic, and I have a fantastic life because I don't do guilt, I don't do shame, I don't do blame. And if your communication with me has any of that in it, sorry, I don't play that way.
Yeah.
And it's a different frame to live inside of. And my family omit themselves from me, and I've told them, I've done beating my head. I'm over here in Vegas. I'm living an amazing life. Y'all are welcome to be part of it. Just know this is just the way it is. I'm king here.
Yeah. And you got to be prepared for it. Like I have my customer, when people try to put guilt on me for anything, I just go, oh, are you trying to put the seatbelt on me? And they're like, what? I'm on the seatbelt on me because you're trying to take me for a guilt trip and I ain't going.
Yeah, totally.
You know, things like this. So be prepared.
Like
but when you talk about upgrading the information, like you're talking about the vegan thing about what to say, you just say, well, what is your belief about it? Well, you know, you don't get the right, you don't get the right protein. The reason I look the way I do for a lot of reasons is because I want to demyth that. So when people are coming to me and you hear this like, well, vegans, they're not getting the right protein. I'm like, yeah, I only do like 70 grams of protein, and I only eat pretty much like, you know, once a day, maybe, you know, with a 3-hour period of time. So what else you got? Like, because I know I look all frail and shit.
And you actually look healthier. I told you this in Vegas last year. You look better and younger and healthier, except for the gray hair.
Yeah.
Obviously. Better than 10 years.
Younger, sexy, healthier. Younger, sexy, healthier. On the treadmill. Younger, sexy, healthier.
Yeah, right.
That's my mantra. Younger, sexy, healthier. Yeah, right. And I have fun doing it. I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
But fuck, we can't go because it'll just be we can go on.
I know. And then someone just asked about tribe and stuff. I mean, we got to do this as like an 8-part series.
Let's do it. This could be like something that guys tune into, and you're getting some massive value here today. But talk about tribes.
So what's the question? You've talked about the community around you. I don't know if we still have time for that, but could you shortly talk about how
we have time for it because that's the kind of guys we are.
Yeah,
we're gonna spend.
I'm game.
Yeah, I'm game.
Me too.
Yeah. So community is first thing you have to figure out for you, what does community mean to you? And to me, community is chosen friends and family. You know, I consider so I wear this pendant. I don't know if you guys can see this shit. Let me get real close to you. Okay. And that is an F and a C. Wait, FC. You see FC? We are a freedom community. And we are a chosen group of people that chose each other. We choose into freedom. We choose into responsibility. We choose in creating the best versions of ourselves, the lives that we want. And I found these people after building several other communities myself. And the way you build community is you find like-minded people that have like-minded desires and outcomes, like this, what you're doing here, and you interact with them on the regular. You do things together. You create things together. You celebrate life together. You throw parties, you throw barbecues, we do family dinners, we go on trips to, you know, Cancun or Toronto or, you know, Costa Rica, or this year we went to Vancouver. You know, we're going to Tennessee for a symposium. We get together and we throw intentional parties that are designed to have powerful conversations, and you know, there's a structure to them. You know, we are about creating, and I'm really about finding higher quality people. You know, I mean, it's really about quality playmates, right? Yeah, it's really about quality playmates. So if you want quality playmates in your life, you need to find quality people you respect, people you like what they're doing and how they're living their life, and include them in your life and get together. Fucking, if you just have a barbecue, or you just have, like, you know, family potluck dinner, or we're gonna fucking watch movies tonight, or we're gonna play games tonight, and just bond and create that together. Find out what they want to create, and then you guys, I mean, all of this started from the rave community back in the day. Like, we just started throwing small house parties. Then we started throwing warehouse parties. Then we started like throwing what do we call them? What was the gratitude parties? We threw gratitude parties, and like a gratitude party was an invitation only. It started
orgies.
Yeah, we throw orgies. Yeah, I mean, we throw events, and it's like, now what I do. I mean, I have a men's forge. And there's 8 of us right now, 9 of us, and you know, we get together every other Tuesday, and we hold down, we get in the nitty gritty, we work out each other's shit, we fucking handle being on task. Like we have a season. Every there's 4 seasons a year. Every season we show up with our 3-month plan. Like right now, so I'm meeting on Wednesday with my guys. I have to have my 2017 year plan. I have to have the first season's plans to help me get to the end of the 2017 plan. So I'm showing up, and we all show up with our plans, and we're like, that's a bullshit plan. Tighten that up, make it more actionable. And then we, that's one of the things that I do. And then we are on phone calls once a day, or messages to each other, doing the where we're at, what's going on, and how we're moving forward. I'm constantly on task to create a better version of myself and a better life. And it's all about getting these guys to be the best version of themselves. Yes, we fuck up. Yes, we fall down. We don't go, oh, you're bad, you're fucking up and falling down. No, we're like, dude, you fucked up, you fall down. Now get up off your ass and fucking, what are you going to do now? And so we just constantly push each other to be better. And we do it with our women. And we have, like I said, parties and events and little things. We plan trips, and you build community with people of like mind and that have similar goals, and just hold a higher standard, and the weak ones will fucking fall away.
Yeah, or not even, I'd say not the weak ones, but the less committed.
Yeah, the less. I don't mean to imply these are bad human beings. I mean, it's just that they're not. People go, yeah, man, I want to have the life like that, and they're not willing to do the fucking work.
Yeah, like last year, I was like, I fucking learned piano, and I did 2 months.
Okay, but own that shit, right?
And it doesn't have to be so structured either. Like we're all on self-development paths. Like he does like stuff like every day. Like that would annoy the fuck out of me personally. Like I'd be like, like there's levels of that. To me, I'm more laid back, so I kind of like just kind of trot through and do it, and I don't have that many meetings.
But you're also further along than the guys that are figuring it out, because back in the day, you were committed. Like,
I was committed. It was me and me.
When you were learning hypnosis, dude, you were like, you were into it. You were finding a new guy to learn from. You were like,
I was on my own thing. So, but the point is, like even what we're doing here, I upgrade your, made you more aware of your butt. Like just right here, just saying, maybe a little addition to, instead of saying, weak people, more committed. Like we're doing things, like I'm hearing things, upgrading. This is what happens when groups of men get together, because you're bringing a mirror of things, and with men that are going to say, hey, yo, are you even aware that you're doing this? Like one of the most powerful things you can do is film yourself. You can do anything, because you're like, oh my God, I'm doing that, because you can see it. These men, if they care about you, if they have love for you, that they're going to say, hey, we still love you, but we're knowing that you're bullshitting yourself right here. What's going on?
Yeah.
And just having, even if it's once a month, I mean, even if it could be less than, 4 times. You do it on the solstices. Or
even my guys on the forum, especially my brown belts, my advanced guys. And are you guys hearing that audio?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where that
click is coming from.
Clicking is so.
Some new guy I think hopped in. I think it says 3 unmuted. So whoever the third person is who's unmuted, it's you asshole.
You see else unmuted on this thing? I only see
entry and exit chimes are off.
I only see.
It says 14 online, then says 3 unmuted up in the upper left next to attendees.
I know, but the only people unmuted on this is just me, so I don't know where it's coming from. So whoever's out there, beating off to us, giving us this great information, stop it.
Mute your phone.
You're going too slow.
But I messaged my guys, my brown belts. I was like, hey, what are your guys' plans for next year, 2017? I did this like a month ago. And I was like, what are you guys' plans? What are you going to focus on? And neither one of them got back to me. So after like 2 days, I go, hey, if you guys don't come up with some, I'm going to come up with some for you. And then I posted that on his Facebook page the next day. He was like, man, I'm so fortunate to have friends like this. And he's like, now I know what he's going to make me fucking do, so I better pick some good ones for myself. But that's what happens is I know my friends will hold me accountable and catch me if I'm slipping and point it out. It's all coming from a place of love. It's never coming from a place of anger or judgment.
Now, right? I mean, you've got to like, look, dude, I don't need you to bullshit me. If I'm asking you for help, I don't need you to bullshit me. I need you to like, tell me how it really is. Like if you see me slip and point it out, I mean, don't slam me in public in front of everybody, but like take me aside and like, hey, motherfucker, let's have the real to real.
I cut them out. Like I just go, hey, if this ain't done, then I still love you and everything like this, but to be optimal and live at a certain level, it's a commitment.
Yeah,
it's a commitment. So you have to kind of go at that level. And I'm like, if you don't have this, it just shows me that you're not ready. Maybe next time around you'll be more ready. And it's like either you lose a lot of people because they're not there. And it's just like it's like helping anyone.
That was a big lesson for me. Was
What?
realizing that a lot of people in my life actually aren't friends. A lot of people in my life weren't brothers. They weren't friends. They weren't in my tribe. They were just long-term acquaintances. Yeah. Guys I went to high school with or something. And so that's that live stream Facebook video I talked about, is I actually sat down and I was like, what value do these people add to my life? And it's not that like they have to add money like customers or something, but do they add positive feelings when I hang out with them? Like my best friend Aaron, who I did go to high school with. What's that?
Are you hanging around with a bunch of complainers? Are you hanging around with people that are you hanging with people that build you up or inspire you? I mean, you can't have an epic life if you're not hanging around epic people doing epic stuff. It's just you have what you put into it, right? Where you put your attention is what you get. And if you have a community around you of people that have no ambition, no motivation, not inspired, and all they're worried about is getting their dick wet or where their next beer is coming from, you're not going to have a fucking fantastic life. You're not going to travel the world. You're not going to go, snorkeling or scuba diving. You're not going to go hang gliding. You're not going to jump out of a plane. You're not going to fucking, go to the best parties. You're not going to fucking meet the best people. You're not going to make that fucking $1 million. You're not going to own that company. You're not going to fucking live in the house that you've always dreamed of having. You're not going to
have the quality of life you want.
Yeah.
You're going to have the quality of life you deserve.
Yeah, quality playmates, man. It's all about quality playmates. And I'm always looking for new people, and I throw a big net and I pull it in, and people show up, and either they hang or they don't. And I want them all to hang, but I'm done being Captain Save-A-Home. I'll teach you all the skills you need. I'll show you what I don't know, but I also need you to fucking show me stuff. Yeah. I need you to teach me things. I need
that's it. That's it. When you're a teacher, you get to a point where you're teaching to learn now.
Yeah.
Because like you're learning new ways to interact. Like it's an engagement. Like a teacher is a form of a martial artist because he's engaging. He's not just, this is it. He's engaging. He's asking questions. He's finding out, and he's updating and patterning and mirroring in his mind, or mentoring in his mind.
Yeah.
Modeling, I should say the right word, modeling in his mind, placing himself in that and working himself out of it.
Yep.
That's the way it is. That's what a true master does.
When you have to learn, so for me, it was really insightful and helpful. Obviously, when I started my own journey and started learning all this, for me, it was pickup when I first got into it. That's what started my self-help, self-improvement journey in the dating relationship world. But see, I just shit all over pickup by saying, but I'll leave that one there.
I'm not gonna say that.
and so then I realized that I learned a lot from it, but God damn it. So I started learning even more.
You'll never miss when you say "but" ever again.
And I noticed Eric said one earlier, and like totally the ego part of me, like the guy going, "Hey, you just said it too." Like you want to point it out too. It's just, anyways. So I know that when I started teaching other guys, and I started having to like help a guy who's like a 5'2" Indian immigrant who's so scared to even talk to if it was a waitress, a female server waitress, he couldn't even order. He'd have to have his mom or his sister order with him. And he did a testimonial on my site. He's married now and stuff, and he's awesome. And he just moved out to San Francisco. Great job and all this shit. But anyways, he went from being so shy and timid, and the lessons and skills I'm trying to give him, I was like, wait, my answers aren't the answers for him. So trying to figure out his path and trying to see the world from his reality and help him and give him the tools, going from a student to someone who gets it, and then going to the next level of teaching was the most beneficial thing ever. Same thing, martial arts, tactical training, working with someone who has different physical attributes, size, strengths, and you got to see it from their perspective and understand it and be able to teach on their wavelength. That just takes everything, the whole level of understanding to a whole other level. So another little tip for anyone who's out there listening to this.
I've had a few people like that. I have a lot of, quote, visually appealing women that come here. And I've had guys like this. I enjoy my therapeutic sessions or my mentoring, clients and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Brought them over. I said, okay. I said, the girls were in the back, doing stuff. I said, I want all you girls to come in here and sit down on the couch. I go, dude, get down to your underwear. We're shutting the door. Put on music. And now you're going to fucking dance for them. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You're going to dance for them. The girls are like, come on, dance. Terrified, but once if they hired me as a client or as a coach, you're fucked. You know, like there's no getting away. I said, take off your fucking clothes. I go, look, I go, if I have to, I'm gonna have them take off your clothes. Okay. Yeah. And he's like, oh, okay. So nervous and shit. I go, don't shake. Like, and you get to the point where the fear loses the body. Like, you know, and I'm like, yeah, and the girls dig it because there's beauty in vulnerability, especially when you're shaking fear off and evolving yourself. And then when the girls got, they were laughing, you know, they were tipping them and shit like this, and he was smiling and stuff like this. Then the girls left, and I'm like, how do you feel, man? And he's like, amazing. And I go, exactly. Yeah. I said, so, you know, that's the whole point. So, bottom line is, fuck, we got to end this call. We're coming up on the 3rd hour mark, like I said, and that's the way it is. But listen, guys that are here on the call, I appreciate you guys being here, you know, asking some of the questions. We're going to get into it next week a little bit. There's not going to be any homework this week because I've been dealing with my house that was burglarized across the way, and I got to deal with that. But I really
homework assignment. Buy a flashlight.
There you go. Yeah, buy a flashlight. You got one for him?
I don't have one. I do have one.
Give one. Let's buck it. Let's give him one.
I'll bring an extra.
Yeah, get a flashlight.
Get a flashlight. Here, they're asking for the link. I'm going to pull it up and show it to them and put it in here for them.
Yeah. Get a flashlight. What I would say is you want your homework is reassess. You know, we talked about stuff going in before the new year, getting rid of. That's what I told you guys to go do the stuff, go through your house, get rid of shit that you don't want. Yeah. Now, like, start looking at your friends list and and really, you can still love your friend, but, you know, you don't have to, you can still love your friend and, there you go. See, I even catch myself on it. And you can still, you know, venture off and to surround yourself with more successful people. You know, this is how men, all right. And we're not like, I'm a fucking man. Like, this is how men healthily communicate, whether you're white, black, whatever your racial division is, your religion, whatever. This is healthy. This is how real men talk, and notice how real men put stuff out there. So if anything else you can get, you want to just, you know, if people want to study John, they can go to
Dominance 101.
Dominance101.com. And if they want,
and I've seen John teach now, I think 3 years at Vegas, and I've seen him bring the girls out for demos and work the stuff, and it's solid shit. So I get no affiliate commission by saying that. Solid.
Yeah, it's none of us. And if you want my stuff, because I'm going to put this out there and do it probably on YouTube. You know, my stuff's hypnotica.org. But, you know, that's pretty much for the, you know, the dating men's lifestyle kind of sex stuff.
I'll be launching a new blog, Masculine Confidence, soon. So,
cool. Yeah, so we're all about this. And look at us, okay? And another thing, God, there's so many, this is what's great about us getting together is showing these patterns. Like, there are groups out there that are in pickup that would be like, well, they're our competitor. I have people on forums that won't even allow them to register the name Hypnotica, because they don't want to talk about me at all.
Oh dear God, what the fuck, man? You have great content. You're a fucking.
I'm just saying there are some very good ones. I want to say they're good in their own way, but
personal experience with that, Eric, from back in the day. We were trying to get you on the other forum, and they were like, we don't know. And I was like, no, man, he's posting, he's doing so much good stuff. And I actually remember I was the admin for the forum.
That's beta male shit.
Yeah.
I just started off as the junior coach, but before I was senior coach, executive coach. But I was running the forum. And I remember, too, Eric was like, man, you were doing some really good shit. Let me send you out my videos just as a thank you, the collection of confidence.
And I didn't even know you. Like, really.
It's on my bookshelf.
I saw what he's doing. I'm like, I appreciate it. Here, man, take this because, like, I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really – we built the relationship off of respect.
Yeah. That's key. Yeah.
And that was how many fucking years ago? 10?
Years ago. But there are people that are like that. Like, this is healthy right here. You know, unhealthy is like, we're not even going to let people register his name because we don't even want to talk about him because it's going to take money from our sales. Like, I'm like, he could be a competitor if I look at him that way. But I'm like, look, I teach sex stuff and healthy and men's lifestyle stuff. So do you.
Yeah.
To me, it's like martial artists.
Listen to these guys. Like, it's
it's martial arts. And same, you could go to the same lineage of one martial art and get 3 different instructors and get totally different takes and insight and everything, even though it's the exact same. They could have learned from the exact same guy. So let alone having 3 whole different paths that you guys have walked, and you guys have more spins around the sun than me. So I bring out my notebook when you guys are talking.
Dude, that's the thing. The reason I'm here is I'm trying to find teachers I respect and interview them, because I want the guys that I teach to see there's so many different styles to dominance and powerful being a powerful man. And it's not the John way of doing things. Fuck that shit. No, let's do your way of doing things, and let's give you good examples of how to do those things. So yeah, good mentors, good teachers. Fucking just all get together and just make it happen.
Are you going?
And I talk.
Are you going?
My little tip that I tell my guys, and I'm dating myself now by saying it, is I go, you don't want to be a carbon copy of me, because no one uses carbon paper anymore. But if you guys remember carbon paper, it's like a shitty version of the original. Like if you typed on it or wrote on, like sometimes you couldn't even read it. So you guys don't want to be a carbon copy of me, because you're just gonna be a shitty version of me, and you don't want to be a carbon copy of them. But you might sit there and go, oh, Steven had like 5 good things that I like that he talked about, but he's all into gun stuff and I don't like that. But Eric's a vegan and I'm vegan and I like that. And so just like we learn from all these mentors, you guys do the same thing. So I think we all complement each other, and a rising tide raises all ships. And that's one way of looking at reality. The other way is to think you guys as competitors and not want everyone to flourish. So,
well, like I said, man, it's always a pleasure having you on this. And Nathaniel, I see that you want to ask about diet and workout plan. It's just not going to fit into this moment, but next week be on the call, and you can ask that, and we'll get into it there. So, with that said, gentlemen, rock on, man. Godspeed with all you out there. And anything else last minute?
Thanks for having me on, man. Yeah.
All right, Steven. And we will see you soon. And I'm looking forward to talking with you.
You will be in Vegas, right?
Yeah, I'm going.
Cool. Yeah.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Right on.
Later, guys.
All right, guys.
See ya.
Take care. Thank you this week. Bye-bye. Hold on. We're still stopping recording, so in case it goes on.